Chapter 361, Shanghai Realm 9th. Knowing the sea's fate, before the cataclysm, once awakened, it was called spiritual power. Spiritual powers are very strange and powerful, such as mental strength, illusions, etc., which are all within the scope of consciousness of the sea and spiritual powers. However, in the past, it was almost impossible to open the complete knowledge of the sea, and only the corresponding destiny derived from it, such as the spiritual destiny, the divine destiny, and the illusion of destiny. Although it belongs to the consciousness of the sea, it is an incomplete consciousness of the sea. It can only be said that it is a branch of the consciousness of life that is derived from the change of the consciousness of the sea. Even to a certain extent, it has very amazing magical powers. This is mutation, a kind of metamorphosis. All belong to spiritual attributes, and can be said to be a variant. Specifically, Yi Tianxing himself can't tell the difference. But it is certain that their derived spiritual power has been transformed into unique powers, such as mental power, such as the power of illusion, the power of the mind, etc., which are all variants of spiritual power. A metamorphosis. It is no longer purely spiritual. But it can show great power. The complete consciousness of the sea is the pure spiritual power. This is only after the monk has reached a certain level and certain realm, can it be possible to directly break open with his own soul, will, and spirit. You need heaven and earth treasures, which can be opened by your own spiritual will. Generally speaking, either the state of cultivation has reached a certain level, or its own spiritual soul is so powerful. In order to open the knowledge of sea life in advance, the benefits of opening up the consciousness of the sea are too great. First of all, the original imaginary spiritual power will condense in the consciousness of the sea and grow in a way that can be felt by itself. Not to mention, once the spiritual power is condensed to the extreme, various supernatural powers can be produced. Moreover, spiritual power can nourish the soul in true spirit. The spiritual power is strong, and the soul will be condensed in the future, and the benefits will be even greater. At this moment, Yi Tianxing's mind was completely immersed in his mind. Appears in a mysterious area. I just saw that a chaotic area appeared in the mind. This area was gray everywhere, making it impossible to see how wide it was. Just in the center, a golden ocean appeared. Of course, the ocean is just a pool. The range is not large. A golden gas appears in this pool. This is spiritual power, and every spiritual power can be seen with the naked eye. But these are the mental powers of the gaseous state. Even so, it is still mental power that can be touched. This place is the knowledge of the sea. Only with the knowledge of the sea, can we store mental energy, and even clearly see the consumption and growth of mental energy. It is indeed the ancestral tactic, it is the knowledge of the sea and the consciousness of the sea. The original spiritual power of the emptiness, but now I feel that I can control it freely. I control the use of spiritual power. I feel that the entire soul is sublimated. This feeling is really wonderful. Memory, soul power, have all grown tremendously at this moment. The mind is clearer than ever. Moreover, it can be seen that the cool air directly penetrates into the mind, enters the consciousness of the sea, and merges into it with a continuous stream of spiritual power. The growth rate is amazing. In each breath, you can see new spiritual powers. A strong sense of fulfillment came to mind. Amazing Huoling Junye. This effect is inestimable and its value is too amazing. It is truly a treasure that can give the scarecrow the true spirit will. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and secretly produced a strong shock. Just a moment, I saw that the sea of knowledge that was being developed had been filled with golden spirits. Can no longer bear it. Today's knowledge of the sea is really small. It has a size of 3 feet. If you want to continue to carry more spiritual power, no doubt, the best way is to let the golden sea of knowledge continue to expand, and it will be gray around. The unknown area expanded. However, the consciousness of the sea of consciousness has just been opened, and the entire consciousness of the sea shows a state of instability. If it expands again, it may have some bad influence on the consciousness of the sea. We must not rashly expand and open up the sea. We must focus on stability. We must not lose sight of small things. The development of the sea of knowledge is not only the spiritual power derived from the Huoling Junye, but also the spiritual power in Yi Tianxing's own body. It also quickly converges and derives from the sea of knowledge. It is related to its accumulation. The original mental strength is superhuman. Open up now and transform directly into true spiritual power. Coupled with the Huoling Junye, the concentrated mental power becomes quite amazing. The spiritual power is overflowing. You can't waste it. Think about the Chaos Dragon rune. Cohesive runes. Better now. Quote. Yi Tianxing turned his mind and made a quick decision. Begin to visualize the first time. The most critical point of meditation is spiritual will, which condenses the charm of Taoism and motivates the power of heaven and earth. In the past, my own mental power was imaginary and invisible, but now I can clearly feel that my understanding of the imagination map reaches another level in an instant. Comprehend more deeply. The speed of condensing runes is faster. Almost immediately after the start of imagination, each rune naturally condensed out. The speed is amazing. Almost every breath, 2 or 3 runes were condensed out. This time, when I look at it, there is no pressure on mental power. The overflowing spiritual power was completely used in cohesive runes. So if someone can watch it at this moment, they will find that in the Shanhai, Chaos Dragon charms condensed out of thin air and merged into the chaotic dragon pond like raindrops. The whole mouth of Longqi is becoming more and more condensed at an incredible speed. Time passed quietly. Quickly, it is about to be completed. 96,600 Chaos Dragon runes are about to be condensed. Once completed, you can completely condense the Chaos Dragon pool to complete a transformation. Promotion to Shanhai Realm 8th. Quote. For these days, as soon as there is time every day, you will not hesitate to visualize the runes. With the accumulation of day after day, the number of runes in the body has begun to infinitely approach the number of 1 yuan. Now even in the state of overflowing mental power, the speed of condensing runes has skyrocketed again. Already on the verge of complete transformation. As long as it is completed, Chaos Longqi can be semi-substantial. Successfully promoted to the 8th realm of Shanhai realm. This process is the process of water milling. It takes time, accumulates the foundation, and finally accumulates thin hair. Boom. Expensive. Imperceptibly, another Chaos Dragon charm condensed in the imagination. When this rune was merged into the Chaos Dragon pool, suddenly, it was seen that in the dragon pool, a trembling dragon groan was transmitted. The Chaos Dragon pool became condensed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a blink of an eye, transformation is complete. The entire mouth of Longqi has become a semi-elusive, semi-real, peculiar state, conveying a strange texture, no longer the original illusion. At the same time, the true energy that has been spit out has become more condensed, and in the true energy, there is more of a true dragon breath that did not exist before. This condensed, letting qi decrease again can give Yi Tianxing the feeling, but he becomes more powerful. 12,960 Chaos Dragon runes, chaos turns into Longqi Xiaochang. Shanhai realm is 8th. This transformation is clearly felt by myself. The whole body's sense of heaven and earth becomes clearer, and the speed of breathing the vitality of heaven and earth is faster. Chaos Longqi is running. Expensive. At this moment, I only saw that the ancestor dragon who was entangled in the Chaos Dragon pool suddenly opened his eyes, looked at the Hongmeng Tiandi tower, made a dragon yin, and swallowed. Brush. In this swallow, I immediately saw that a cloud of chaos gas shot out from the pagoda, was sucked out by Zulong, and swept quickly towards the chaotic Longqi in the Shengquan. Rumble. The chaos gas directly penetrated into the chaotic Longqi. www.novelhall.com. The entire Huolongqi passed an extremely excited dragon groan, and there seemed to be thousands of true dragons roaring. Make a roar of excitement. The entire Huolongqi was shaking. The original half-empty and half-solidified Longqi was suddenly covered with chaos, and a layer of strange chaos light escaped. Gray. People feel a mystery and depth that is unimaginable. It seems that inside, you can see that all kinds of true dragons are shuttled and migrating. Just moments later, the entire mouth of Chaos Longqi has completely condensed into substance. Into a real entity. The entire Huolongqi, as if in an instant, had its origin and was transformed, completely transformed from the virtual reality, and the chaos breath emanating from it was extremely rich. It really became unparalleled. Massive true dragon's qi is like the swallows returning to the nest, madly crawling into the chaotic dragon pond. Suddenly the entire Shanhai became empty. A trace of chaotic air, at this moment, covered the Sea of God like a tide, instead of appearing in the Sea of God, but appeared outside of the Sea of God, enveloping it, and the whole of the Sea of God was as if it were in the chaos. Surrounded by chaos and nothingness. Tick. In the dragon pool, the runes of chaotic colors are constantly flashing, like a complete chaotic ancestor dragon. Suddenly, a drop of chaotic liquid emerged directly from the Huolong pond, followed the fountain's eyes, and fell into Shanhai. Inside that drop of liquid, it seemed that I could feel the strong true dragon's breath, and it seemed that I could see a true dragon encircling it. The coercion emanating from it is not as strong as before. True gas liquefies, condenses into liquid, and coagulates longqi into substance. This is the 9th aspect of Shanhai. At this moment, even Yi Tianxing couldn't help generating a shock. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 362, Chaos C. In the first stage of Huahai, the illusory Haiqi is condensed, which is the 7th most important aspect of Shanhai. It can already condense the true energy, and condenses all the runes in Huaqi of Qiqi in its own method, resulting in a semi-substantial transformation. Haiqi, already regarded as a complete Huahaiqi, is more powerful for the true Qi condensing, which is the 8th aspect of Shanhai realm. But the 9th is the most critical. Because, in order to condense the Huahaiqi into a real substantive state, it is necessary to condense the origin. What is the origin? That is the origin of one's own exercises, the origin of one's own constitution. Even once completed, Huahaiqi will have subtle changes to the physical body and the entire physique. For example, some people practice the practice of the fire attribute, and their physical constitution is also the fire attribute. After reaching the 8th level, they need to condense the origin. The power of this origin can be practiced in a unique spiritual land. For example, entering the land of fire evil, absorbing the energy of fire evil, and merging into the sea of water, the whole sea of water will undergo metamorphosis, get the source, and become the sea of water with fire properties. The truth derived from it Qi, will have the flavor of the charm of fire. It can be said that once the transformation of Huahaiqi is completed, it has almost decided its own cultivation practice and its own path. Lay the ultimate foundation. It's almost difficult to change. In this process, you can integrate into the source of water, quench the Haiqi with the vitality of water, and you can also use the power of gold to quench the Haiqi. This step has almost decided your own future path. It is not difficult to integrate the origin in Huahaiqi. Some of the top natural treasures can let Huahaiqi derive its origin. This is actually a process of determining its own foundation. What you give is what you get. Not only can you find the place of earth evil, you can also draw the vitality of the heavens and earth of various attributes by yourself, quench the chemical sea pond, let the chemical sea pond transform, and condense the origin. For example, fire-type spar, ice-type spar, and even all kinds of natural treasures, strange treasures, etc. can give the power of origin. Complete transformation. It's not that difficult, but what gives the origin, its rank, means its own foundation is strong or not. It just absorbs the unique attribute power of ordinary heaven and earth vitality. The origin of Huahaiqi, which has been out for a long time, is naturally very ordinary. If the above-mentioned heaven and earth treasures give the origin itself will become more powerful. It will bring greater benefits in the future. In addition, there is a Dan medicine that can complete this step, called Zhujidan. Zhujidan can derive the power of the origin that it needs. This can be done very smoothly. Because, this stage is called Huahai. The process of completing the transformation of Huahaiqi and condensing the origin also means that Shanhai has truly become Shanhai. Become endless in general. For example, the Huahai lake, which is tempered by the force of fire, will be a sea of fire. It is not true that it has become a sea of fire, but that the entire Shanhai will be full of flames. Rendered into the sea of flames. But other places are illusory, and the real part is still the sea of gods originally developed by itself. However, even if it is illusory, it gives the foundation for continued transformation. Let Shanhai have a constantly expanding foundation. This is Daoji. This is the foundation. It turned out to be the foundation of the chaos in the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower, which gave birth to its origin. The foundation of my Tao is the Sea of Chaos. Yi Tianxing was secretly shocked. The Sea of Chaos, the origin of chaos, and chaos is the mother of all things, which is almost equal to his physique, and will be able to practice any attribute. Without any scruples. But the resources needed by the Chaos Sea will also increase. Far more than other monks. This is a relative process. Drops of chaotic liquid descended in the Shanhai, tirelessly and endlessly. For a moment, a layer of crystal liquid had emerged in the Shanhai. The Shanhai realm is ninefold, and the foundation has been built. It has become a true element. It already has the power of life and knowledge. Junyuan is the symbol of the great consummation of the life of the ocean. The life and life are created by the milk. The sea is empty. In fact, for the monks who have already opened up the fate of life in Shanghai, once the foundation is completed and the 9th level of Shanghai is completed, it is already a breakthrough of life and knowledge. Things. The only difference is life and death. Life and consciousness is actually a realm that is difficult to define. Life tactics give birth to supernatural powers. In fact, it doesn't matter how much life tactics are developed. Even if you are willing, you can cultivate a destiny. It can be regarded as the cultivation of a single mystery to the extreme, and it can also have the power to destroy the world. Really saying that the life-knowing situation is strong because the life-knowing situation, the power in the body has been transformed from true chi to true element. Promoting life with the real element will be much more powerful than when the chi is activated. Of course, the battle force is strong, there are too many determinants, and the soldiers are not so easy to define. It is not difficult to kill the life of Shanghai, and it is not necessarily impossible to kill the life. The realm that can be defined as longevity and longevity. The Sea of Chaos, this feeling is really wonderful. It seems that the connection between itself and the entire world is clearer in an instant, and the attraction of the heaven and earth vitality is stronger. Any heaven and earth vitality can absorb and refine. It is a wonderful thing. Process. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, slowly opened his eyes, and a deep murmur appeared in his eyes. From Shanghai Realm 7th to directly promote to Shanghai Realm 9th, this powerful transformation makes the whole body and mind convey a sense of joy. Very strong. I took a look at the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower still suppressing in the Shanghai, and then looked at the chaotic Longqi that has been completely transformed. I shook my head slightly, and I didn't care too much. After all, the thing that derived the Chaos Sea was absolutely not bad. Now that the Shanghai has been transformed into the sea, all that needs to be done is to accumulate the true yuan a little, fill the Shanghai, and even continue to expand. This accumulation, the longer the time, the more natural the accumulation, and the thicker the true element. The outbreak of combat power is even stronger. In the realm of Shanghai, it can be said that it has entered the stage of accumulation. It can even be said that completely entering the state of great consummation and then practicing is the next state of affairs. True elements in the body can accumulate at any time. As long as you practice, you will become stronger. The Shanghai realm is the 9th most important. It opens up the knowledge of the sea. It is a condensed spirit. I didn't expect that just a drop of the spiritual liquid caused such a great transformation, and the magic of creation is really not anyone's guess. Although this process came with a touch of surprise and no feeling of complete control, the end result was in its own favor. Opening a new life tactic, for their own strength, is not a small improvement. Zanjia Ming Chao, Dantian Ming Chao, Congenital Yin Yang Ming Chao, Shiding Ming Chao, Knowing the Sea Ming Chao, unknowingly, has opened up 5 Ming Chao. For those who open up the Ming Chao, promotion fate, that's no pressure at all. Ding dong. Outside, there was a crisp sound of the piano, echoing in the backyard. The Qin Yin is ethereal and refreshing, and the unconscious whole heart becomes quiet with the Qin Yin. Outside, it's dawn. Opening the door of the room, walking out of the quiet room, smelling the thick natural fragrance from the air, the whole heart and lungs felt cool and comfortable. Looks very brisk. This eternal continent, the integration of all walks of life, has destroyed the 21st century modern civilization, but it has brought back the natural breath. It is a kind of reincarnation that gains and loses. I still like the world now, even before it's a troubled world, and it has a different charm. Quote. Yi Tianxing murmured to himself, sighing secretly. I used to smell the car exhaust every day. Compared with now, it is a dump. Instead, he felt more comfortable with this troubled life. From the beginning, everyone has a chance. Everyone has the potential to stand out. The original beggar may also become an emperor. Quietly walked into the backyard. In the backyard, some flowers have been planted, and there are natural fragrances emerging from the air, floating in the air. Inside the gazebo, a beautiful figure is immersed in the art of piano. 10 fingers pluck the strings to make a beautiful sound. Such as the mountains and rivers, www.novelhall.com. Even if you don't infuse chi, just the mood can make people immersed in it and feel a different mood. Quietly came to the gazebo and stood behind the beautiful figure. Close your eyes and listen. In the piano sound, I can feel a kind of miss for my loved ones, and nostalgia for my hometown. With a touch of sorrow. She is missing her relatives and her former home. Not only her, but Yi Tianxing could not help but emerge a faint thought. I don't know how their parents are doing now, whether they are still safe and alive. There is also Xian. I don't know how you are doing in Shanman now, and what level Shouwei has reached. Will you be bullied by others? A picture emerged in my mind, and various figures appeared in my heart. The sound of this piano can draw people's minds. I don't know when the sound of the piano stops slowly. Yi Tianxing stepped forward and reached out to embrace the Zhao body in his arms. Zhao's body stiffened for a while, but then became soft. Brother Yi, Kai Yan shouted softly. Zhao Ji, I can't give you a wedding right now, can't give you a stable life, are you willing to be my wife? Yi Tianxing hugged the beauties, and slowly spit out a voice. I don't know why, at this moment, he wanted to hug the tender body in front of him. In troubled times, there are very few people who can stay with their families after all. Only new relatives and friends can comfort each other. Form a new family. Kai Yi misses his family. He can't find her relatives and can't take him back to his hometown. However, he can give her a home, a new home. One belongs to their home. Remember the first domain name for this book, www.4020.la. 4020 Novel Network Mobile Version Reading URL, m.4020.la. Chapter 363, Cure. I do. Kai Yan heard, a sincere smile on his face, and agreed softly. In the words, a firmness can be heard. Well, let's choose a day and put a banquet in the town. From then on, I am your husband and you are my wife. Yi Tianxing heard, and a warmth appeared in his heart. For Kai Yan, getting along these days has long been a constant warming up of emotions. Already know each other and fall in love. Talk about marriage and marriage are all your wishes. Kai Yan already had psychological preparations for this, just waiting for Yi Tianxing to speak in person. After all, she is a girl and she needs a little face. Everything is up to you, brother Yi. Zhao Ji has no opinion. There was a hint of coyness on Kai Yan's face. This kind of thing that should have been discussed by the parents of both parties was brought to the fore, and the shyness in their hearts can be imagined. I'll let Cao Zhengchun go down to prepare later. Thinking of such a beautiful and talented woman, she will soon become her wife, and Yi Tianxing can't help but have a fiery enthusiasm, and can sleep with such a beautiful woman, that feeling, but no man can easily calm down. By the way, isn't Miu Miu at home? Yesterday, you went out for a while. Dr. Chu they came and took Moonwell water. The internal injuries have basically recovered, but the spiritual injuries need to wait for you to come back. No way. Quote. Kai Yan's voice turned suddenly and said suddenly. She went to see the Miu girl. It was indeed heroic and aggressive. There is a unique temperament on the body, which makes people impressed at first glance. Well, if it was before yesterday, maybe I didn't have a good way. However, it is not difficult to treat the damage on the soul now. It was getting late yesterday, and the damage on the soul will not be short-term. There is too much change, so there is no rush, so let's go and see how it is now. Yi Tianxing heard it with a smile. Since there is a way, the sooner the cure is, the better. If Miu Miu wakes up, Zhao Ji will be able to have a friend and girlfriend. Kai Yan nodded with a smile. In Xuanwang town, although due to the relationship with Yi Tianxing, almost everyone in the town is respected everywhere, but there is no one who can really interact with each other and chat. Not even a friend. She felt very impressed by this Miu girl. If you wake up, you may not be able to become friends. That way, in town, you can have friends chat and talk privately. Without hesitation, the two went hand in hand to a room. Knocking on the door opened, and you can see that Miu Yu was inside, obviously, looking after her daughter. There was a trace of blood in his eyes. Last night, I didn't close my eyes very much, expecting her daughter to wake up and talk to him. I have to say that when he came to Xuanwang town, he gave him a strong hope for his daughter to wake up. Just the Moonwell water almost restored the physical injuries. This has not been the contrast of healing in the original cottage. The gap it is so big that it can be seen at a glance. Not to mention, there were doctors in the cottage before, but they did not see that this injury hurt the soul. In Xuanwang town, it can be diagnosed at a glance that the soul was damaged and caused a coma. My heart also has a strong confidence in a complete cure. It is Mayor Yi, and you are finally back. Great. The joy on Miu Yu's face can be seen by anyone. The joy in my heart turned into my heart. Uncle Miu, I don't know what Miu Miu is doing now, and the situation has improved. Kai Yan asked with a smile. After taking Moonwell water, the injuries in my body have recovered almost, and my looks are much better than before. However, the injuries on my soul have never recovered, and I am still in a coma. I don't wake up. There are joys and worries on his face. It's better to let me go and see Girl Mew. Although it is difficult to heal the wounds on the soul, the items needed are all rare treasures, but compared to saving people, some treasures are just trivial things. Yi Tianxing said calmly. Please. Mew Yu heard that Yi Tianxing had some treasures in his hands that could heal his soul. He couldn't help but rejoice. These treasures were so precious that he couldn't find a way to pay them back. What he hoped to see was his daughter awake, safe and sound. Things are the most important. What a strange woman. Entering the room, a charming young woman was lying quietly on the bed. Compared to when she saw it yesterday, there was a touch of ruddy and vitality on her face. Obviously, this is a sign of recovery. Even if he is asleep, he can feel an inexplicable British spirit in him. Standing in front of the bed, with a moment of thought, a spiritual force probed directly into the woman on the bed and entered the body. Immediately I felt that a kind of weakness, the power of the soul, passed from him seemed to be like a candle in the wind. A haze seemed to hang over her consciousness. How about it? After seeing Yi Tianxing recovering his mental strength, Kai Yan asked quickly. The soul is indeed damaged. Yi Tianxing said. Is there any way to cure it? As long as I can save my daughter, I'm willing to pay any price. In the future, my life will be yours, Mayor Yi. Mew Yu said without hesitation. Mew Daoyu talked a lot, and this is what I had promised to save the girl Mew. I will do it naturally, it is not necessary. Yi Tianxing said with a smile, taking out a gourd in his hand. At the same time, he took out a jade bowl and filled the moon well water in the bowl. Subsequently, a drop of Huoling Junye was poured from the gourd. However, this drop of Huoling Junye suspension was suspended in midair, and was divided into half, and only half a drop was dropped towards the bowl. Tick! With a crisp sound, Huoling Junye fell into the bowl, and then, one saw that in the bowl, the well water that originally emitted moonlight was rendered into a faint golden color. It exudes a fragrant fragrance, it is scented, there is a delusion that it is full of spirits, very amazing. Mew Yu saw next to her, looking forward in her eyes. From the actions of Yi Tianxing, she had guessed that the golden liquid was definitely not an unusual treasure, and a drop of liquid was cut in half. Falling into the bowl, all exudes fragrance. The hope of healing her daughter was stronger in her heart. This bowl is not only the moon well water, but also a half drop of Huoling Junye. The moon well water itself has the effect of healing the wounds, warming the soul, and Huoling Junye is a treasure medicine to nourish and strengthen the soul. Both fusion together has the magic effect of healing the soul and nourishing the soul. Feed it to your daughter to serve, and the damage to the soul should be able to recover quickly. Quote. Yi Tianxing said, pointing at the strange liquid in the bowl. Thank you friends. When Mew Yu heard it, he couldn't help showing a trace of ecstasy, carefully holding the bowl of elixir in his hands, even shaking his hands. This is a kind of expectation and excitement. Quickly walked to the bed, gently lifted the woman on the bed, and brought the bowl close to her mouth. Strange to say, as if the fragrance scented in the bowl has magical power, even if it is in a coma, it has instinctively opened its mouth to drink the spiritual fluid in the bowl one by one. Master. At this time, Jia Yan and Huang Chengyan walked in together, watching Mew Yu feeding her daughter with medicine, her eyes glowed. Mew Daoyu is feeding medicine, wait a minute before talking. If it is just a damage to the soul, this bowl of washang will continue to wake up soon after taking it. Yi Tianxing smiled indifferently. The magic of Huoling Junye was personally experienced. Naturally, it is very clear that even after dilution, only half a drop is used, the efficacy of which is still extremely huge and very amazing. Repairing damage should not be a problem. Under the instinct, a bowl of Huoling fluid was drunk almost instantly, leaving nothing left. Gently lower it again. Dare to ask my friend, I don't know how long it will take for the little girl to recover, sober up. Mew Yu asked cautiously. Maybe the next moment, it may take a few hours, maybe a few days. I don't know this kind of injury from the soul, but this solution is absolutely effective. The injury on the soul, www.novelhall.com, it needs to be repaired, not difficult. Yi Tianxing shook his head and said, well, Mew Daoyu, although at ease, I will leave first, and I will come to visit after Mew Mew is awake. Brother Mew, I believe the prince said that Emu's niece is not a dead man. He must be able to change his fortune. Now he can take the elixir and just wait quietly. Jia Yi nodded in agreement. Later, Yi Tianxing also invited Mu Yu to dinner with him, but he refused with no appetite. Obviously, I really want to see my daughter awake before I can really relax. Leaving the room, Lai He was ready for breakfast. It happened that neither of them had eaten. After eating together, they got up and went to the chamber. After entering the chamber, it can be seen that there are already full of people inside. All the people in the 2 halls and the 6 halls arrived, and Fu Hongxie, Yi Ziqiu, and Lu Zixin in the Tongtian pavilion also arrived. Inside, it was very lively. Talking to each other, laughter kept on. After Yi Tianxing came in, there was a moment of silence in the entire hall. Go straight to the top position and sit down on a chair. See Lord. In the hall, Jia Yi, Huang Chengyan, etc. were divided into 2 columns, and bowed to Yi Tianxing at the same time. This is a courtesy. No need to be polite. Yi Tianxing nodded his head and said, this time we asked everyone to come to discuss things. One is to understand the progress of various matters in Xuanwang town. The other is to discuss how to reform the military system. Build an army suitable for our Xuanwang town system. 2 things, let's talk about the first. Quote, military system reform is a reform that Yi Tianxing wanted to carry out for a long time, but how to do it is a major interference. Remember the first domain name for this book, www.4020.la. 4020 Novel Network Mobile Version Reading URL, m.4020.la. Chapter 364, Discuss. If you do well, you can naturally continue to be a firm way to strengthen the army. If you do not do well, there may be hidden dangers of all kinds of consequences. You must know that this is the army and nothing else. Once the army has a problem, the consequences will be even more terrible. The calamities are endless, which is why Yi Tianxing did not change the military system on a large scale before. First, it is not necessary. After all, the number of troops is not large. Second, it can be better controlled with the help of the previous mature system. But not now, the number of troops has increased rapidly. These days, the number of young men enrolling in the army has reached tens of thousands. The most conservative estimate is that the army in Xuanwang town may reach 100,000. In this case, military reform is necessary. This is the time when the foundation industry is just started, and it is the easiest time to change. It is also the time when resistance is minimal. If we do not carry out innovation, if we want to continue in the future, soldiers who have become accustomed to the previous military system will have various kinds of maladjustments. Master, the registration of household registration in Xuanwang town has been almost completed. According to statistics, the number of household registration in our town today has reached 33,427. Among them, the military the number has reached 63,800. The number of civilians is 270,921. The number of civilians and military members is constantly increasing. Every day hundreds of thousands of foreign refugees join us. Xuanwang town. It won't be long before the number of people will exceed 400,000, or even more. Quote. Jia Yukan stepped forward, stood in the middle, and spoke openly. Population data has long been in the mind, and it can be told at any time like several families. This is not a gift, but an acquired effort. He longed for a chance to perform. As the owner of the Temple of Heaven, he must not disappoint his identity and responsibilities. Well, good. Anything else to say? Yi Tianxing nodded secretly. This number, it can be said, within a 10,000-mile radius, there is absolutely no force that can rival it. As long as the time is given, it will continue, 400,000, 500,000, or even 1 million. Sooner or later. Nothing serious in the Temple of Heaven. Jia Yukan said respectfully, then retreated aside. Wanbaodian is trading with villages and villages. A large portion of the grain that was originally accumulated has now been consumed, and the rest of the grain has to support the daily consumption of nearly 400,000 people. The pressure is not small. I propose that it should now continue to reclaim wasteland, plant grains, and grow a variety of vegetables and fruits. Try to ensure the town's food supply. Shui Jin took a step forward, opening his mouth to report. Food is the foundation in a troubled world. Now after a war of alien races, the deterrence brought by the victory should be able to temporarily deter the aliens. As for the beasts and birds, relying on the strength of the town, as long as they come the animal rank is not too strong, it can be resisted. Recultivating wasteland and planting food is indeed imperative. This matter was arranged by Huang Lao and started as soon as possible. Everyone on the Eternal Continent may be able to plant it faster. The safer it is to produce food. Quote. Yi Tianxing agreed without hesitation. Hundreds of thousands of people, the amount of food they consume every day, is a pretty amazing number. If it were not for growing grain on the Eternal Continent, the yield would be high enough, and the period of maturity would be short. Food is the foundation of stability, and there must be no errors. After the parliament passed, I arranged for the people to continue to reclaim wasteland and plant food. This time, the husband suggested that we must expand the scale and plant all kinds of high-yielding species as much as possible. I remember that not only ordinary food but also potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn and other high-yield grains can be planted and the yield can be guaranteed. Moreover, the grain in the town is sufficient to support the first batch of rice seeds to mature. Quote. Huang Chengyan nodded and said flatly. The various seeds collected by Yi Tianxing before were not just vegetables and fruits, such as corn, sweet potatoes and other high-yield grain seeds. They were stored in the past. They may not be many before, but they were first planted in Dantian Mingqiao. A batch. With the increasing number, it can already meet the large-scale planting. This is the benefit of being prepared before the cataclysm. In terms of material reserves, it can be done second to none. Basically, vegetables can be grown on their own. If you don't want other villages, you can't find seeds. This is the essence. Sir, my brother and I have recently studied the basic elixir, and my original knowledge of the medicinal properties has prepared for the refining of elixir. However, before that, we need to build the elixir and collect sufficient medicinal materials before they can start to refine. Quote. Chu Weiming also said, alchemy naturally, the Dan furnace is the primary tool. Master Lu, I don't know if Danluo Tiangong can be built. Yi Tianxing nodded, looking at teacher Lu, asking. Before I found the hematite in the ground, it is completely possible to use the red copper to build a tannery furnace. With the main character's Yibao Tianwo furnace in it, it can quickly smelt the hematite and quench the materials. It is not difficult to build it. Lu Shi groaned and said. Well, the Tiangong Pavilion is responsible for casting the Dan furnace. The Tianwo furnace can be handed over to the Tiangong Pavilion. A few more Dan furnaces will be cast. The Merit Hall will release some tasks to collect medicinal materials, receive tasks, and collect medicinal materials. You can get merit points. Quote. Yi Tianxing nodded and said. Alchemy is a good thing, and it is also a big thing for Xuanwang Town. As long as it can be refined, let alone, in the future, people in the town will practice faster, and various guarantees will be improved as a result. Thank you Lord. Chu Weiming and Wang Fengshan were both very happy when they heard it, bowing down and saluting. My heart is looking forward to refining elixir. Sir, the number of people in the town has increased sharply, the number of foreign villages has doubled, and people's minds are complex. Their subordinates have proposed to expand 6 doors and recruit quickly. Zhang Yu also stepped forward and said. Although there are no major disturbances, the number of people has increased sharply, and various relationships have become correspondingly complicated. There is not much in the town yet, but in Fangxi, more villages arrive and exchange will become complicated, not enough people. Recruitment is allowed to be fast, as far as possible to recruit the previous experienced capture. This can be more familiar with the operation. Yi Tianxing nodded in permission. Later, some things were brought up, allowing Yi Tianxing to make a decision. Fortunately, many trivial matters have been dealt with. Huang Lao and they have already dealt with them. What they got here is that they need Yi Tianxing. Make decisions for yourself. Imperceptibly, everything has been dealt with almost. Yi Tianxing looked around the hall and said, okay, these things have been dealt with. Now we will discuss the military reform. I don't know if you have any good suggestions or ideas. Now, you can feel free to put forward. If it can be adopted, there will be merits. Quote. The military system is a big deal and cannot be equated with children's play. Brainstorming is right. I had talked with Huang Chengyan, Lu Shi, and even Yang Yi before, but all were simple. There is no way to form a FA rectification. Officially implemented. In the past, there were many military systems, and each dynasty and generation had their own military system. For example, during the Han Dynasty, the Israeli army, the ministry, the coup, the Tun, the team, the Shi, and Wulai distinguished ranks and established military ranks. In charge of the up and down of the army. In the later military system, in the Ming dynasty, commanders, 1,000 households, 100 households, small flags, sergeants, etc. were used to formulate the ranks of the military. However, these are old systems. Another stove, these can only serve as a reference, not as a front and back. Quote. At this time Jia Yu also said, he is a military division. Almost when he wanted to reform the military system, he had already entered the Tibetan pavilion, and made a certain understanding of the ranks of military products in all dynasties and generations. It is naturally clear that if it is to be placed in Xuanwang town, these military systems are somewhat inappropriate. Nothing matters. After all, this is Shenzhen, an army of monks. It should have its own characteristics. Yes, I think that the army itself is composed of monks. It doesn't need to be complicated. Instead, the simpler the better. Things in the army should be taken straight. Yang Yi nodded in agreement. In the military system, it is too complicated to be good. The simpler and clearer it is, the more all soldiers can see the path of promotion. www.novelhall.com can see the way forward and hope. The trial commander, brigade commander, and commander of the previous trials were also too complicated, and there was some conflict with the monks. When they were abolished, Lu Shi said. In the previous military system, military positions were divided into military ranks and military ranks. This is a bit too impetuous. Pragmatic matters should be the foundation of military affairs. I suggest that the new military system should integrate military ranks with military ranks. Military rank is military rank, military rank is military rank. Quote. Wu turned his gaze and shook the feather fan in his hand, suggesting. ... For a while, in the main hall, you kept saying your own words and constantly put forward your own suggestions, and you also determined that a new military system should be formulated. This is finally affirmed, but how to do it? There is still no way to complete the unification. Yi Tianxing didn't interrupt, just listening quietly, listening to their suggestions, their thoughts. Converged in my mind, constantly integrated together, plus the approximate framework that I already have. Unconsciously, the framework of the military system has already appeared in my mind. The military system of previous dynasties and generations was not desirable. It can't be completely moved over. Take the Han dynasty. In the later period, this kind of generals, that kind of generals, could not tell what kind of generals they were. It looks numb to the scalp. Dizziness. That was a complete mess. The military system is in chaos. The stability of the army is the foundation of everything. The military system of the army, the simpler the better, the rank and the military post are integrated. In this case, this can be done. Yi Tianxing flashed a strange light in his eyes, and secretly thought. Remember the first domain name for this book. www.4020.la 4020 Novel Network Mobile Version Reading URL, m.4020.la. Chapter 365, 9-Grade Military System. It will be April soon, so please guarantee the monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. I don't know what the protagonist has. Huang Chengyan looked at Yi Tianxing sitting on the end and asked. I think the protagonist is well informed, Zhezhu is holding it, and there should be a rule already in mind. May I listen to the protagonist's high opinion? Jia Yan said with a smile and looked at Yi Tianxing. His eyes seemed to be able to perceive people's hearts. In the lobby, everyone's voices could not help but follow. All look at Yi Tianxing. After listening to your suggestions, there are indeed some ideas in my heart. Since everyone wants to listen, I will talk about it. If there is anything wrong, everyone can raise it and brainstorm together to fill in the gaps. Yi Tianxing nodded his head. There is no such thing as low-key hiding. Zhangko said, since we have embarked on the path of cultivation, everyone has become extraordinary, and we are monks. In the past, we can now be said to be gods, possess magical powers, and have more combat capabilities than ordinary people. In this case, I intend to determine the military system as the 9-grade military system. Quote. Dare to ask the protagonist, what is the 9-grade military system? Wu asked with a bow. The rank is divided into 9 ranks. Duties and ranks in the army are included in these 9 ranks. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath. I'd like to hear the details. Huang Chengyan said expectantly. I plan to divide the general rank into soldiers and generals. They are heavenly soldiers and generals. Jupin heavenly soldiers and Juxing heavenly generals. Yi Tianxing said with a fixed look, and said flatly. What is Jupin Tianbing and Juxing Tianzhong? As soon as Jia Yan's gaze was fixed, he opened his mouth and asked. Jupan Heavenly Soldier, from low to high, is Yipan to Jupan. Yipan Heavenly Soldier is an ordinary sergeant, an ordinary soldier. Shu is a monk in order to reach the first stage of gathering in the Shanhai realm. Yipan Heavenly Soldier, rank, military rank, all it is the first grade. If you want to be promoted to the second grade, you must achieve the first level of Shanhai Jingshengquan if you want to become a realm. You can only be promoted if you have achieved your standard of merit. The Sanpan Tianbing needs to be repaired to reach the first stage of the Sea of God. At the same time, the meritorious service must also meet the standard, and the Sipan Tianbing must be repaired to achieve the life and knowledge. Yi Tianxing quickly revealed his thoughts. If according to the protagonist, then in Xuanwang town, everyone is the first order of the heavenly soldiers, and no one can break through the fate of life and be in the Shanhai realm. It would be too childish to use the heavenly soldiers to control the heavenly soldiers. Quote. Yang Yanping said with a hint of doubt. Indeed, although Xuanwang town is now a monk, it is because of the short practice time that it is almost within the Shanhai realm. Convergence and easy travel are to reach the peak of the Shanhai realm, and it is only one step away from the life and consciousness realm. But still in the territory of Shanhai. It is conceivable that it is not easy to break through Shanhai. Everyone is a heavenly soldier, so it's a bit ugly. Anyway, Yipan Tianbing is an ordinary soldier. Second grade Tianbing ranks above first grade Tianbing. He has the right to command troops. He can command 9 first-ranking heavenly soldiers, plus himself, for a total of 10. Third-ranking heavenly soldiers can lead 9 second-ranking heavenly soldiers. And its subordinates. Sipan can command 9 Sanpintian soldiers. And so on. Quote. Now no one in town can have a general who can reach the rank of general. One is cultivation, and the other is meritorious service. However, there must be no soldiers in the army. He can temporarily replace the position of general, and he still regards cultivation as a true merit. Quote. Yi Tianxing said slowly, if it is really calculated, strictly based on the military system of Zhu Pin Tian Bing and Zhu Xing Tian Zhang, then in the entire town of Xuanwang, no one can become a general and no one is in charge of the army. Obviously, this is impractical for now. A temporary approach is necessary. However, the real military rank is still calculated as normal. To what extent your strength reaches, naturally, you will be promoted to that rank. Until you have the strength and merits of the general, you can completely eliminate the temporary word. Zhu Pin Tian Bing, Zhu Xing Tian Zhang. 9 is the ultimate. If this is the new military system, it is indeed possible. Wu used a thought and nodded, agreeing. There is strange light in the eyes. The system of 9 products can fully include the heaven and the sky. Everyone has a way of promotion, and each can see the possibility of their own progress. It can give everyone the motivation to move forward and the passion for growth. If you really follow the 9 products, if the system is adopted, it can maximally inspire each soldier's yearning for a higher status. Moreover, it is simple, straightforward, and clear. You can see the level at a glance. The rank is directly in front of all the soldiers. Quote. Jia Yan's eyes brightened, and he nodded secretly after contemplation. With this system, military ranks and military positions can be almost perfectly integrated. You are a top-notch soldier, that is, the cultivation of merits is at this level, and you can see the status and strength at a glance. It is even more convincing in the army. You are high, and you have made enough merits, and that has become a higher rank, and no one can say any jealous words and can only catch up. No matter how high you are, if you don't make great achievements, you won't get promotion. Cultivation and strength can be most directly and fundamentally reflected in the army. No one can say half a word. Can't say a little bit of gossip. If you want to occupy a high position, then you must have enough cultivation and meritorious service. This is the basis of serving the army in the army. If you don't cultivate high, you will not be able to suppress your generals. Convinced that prestige cannot be promoted. On the other hand, showway and merit have been reached. Wherever they go, they are respected in the army and can be convinced in the first place. There are huge benefits to running the army and ensuring harmony within the army. In the army, only the strong are served, and only the merits are viewed. This is the most fundamental and direct thing. And the military system of Yi Tianxing is to put these things in front of all the soldiers, in front of all soldiers. This is a very bold approach, and if it is done in the world, it may lead to various hidden dangers. But there are no hidden dangers. Among the monks, they are more obedient to the strong. This point can be vividly expressed in the army. The 9-pin military system is indeed feasible. Let every soldier have the opportunity to be promoted, everyone has the opportunity, everyone can be a dragon. It is a visible way of promotion. Lu Shi also nodded, agreeing. However, for the time being, there is some advancement. It is because the training of the town generals has not yet reached that level. That height. But the more you grow up. Eventually it becomes a chapter. Implemented in the army, all soldiers will perform maintenance spontaneously. No general will break this system. Because in these 9 military systems, they can see the real promotion road that they can touch. It's not nothingness, it's no longer the need of Shengguan appreciation. As long as the achievement is achieved and the meritorious service is achieved, you can promote yourself. No one can stop it. As long as there is talent, even reeling can counterattack. Don't want to be a general, not a good soldier. However, if you want to implement it, you need to carefully study 1 or 2. Huang Chengyan said. That's right. Yi Tianxing nodded. What he put forward is just a rough framework. The specific method must be carefully discussed before it can be fully formulated and even implemented. After basically agreeing to the 9-grade military system. In the hall, a group of people immediately began to discuss continuously, to consider the shortcomings and make up. Filling in the gaps. Unconsciously, the time was approaching noon. The Jupan military system also gradually took shape, was finally completed, and was recorded. It only takes a few more discussions, and after deliberation, it can really take shape and be thoroughly implemented. Even now it can be implemented. The others are small sections, even if there are some omissions, they can make up for the past. Well, after the parliament passes, it will immediately release a notice to announce the 9-pin military system to Xuanlong town. In the barracks, the 9-pin military system will be implemented immediately. Finally, Yi Tianxing made a decisive decision. The 9-grade military system must be implemented, and the sooner the better. Not only can it stimulate a stronger heart in the army, more stable military hearts, inspire the people in the town to join the army. No hesitation, the parliament has come to an end. After an order, everyone naturally left, www.novelhall.com, but in his face, his heart passed out shocks. They were just involved in a major event about the future of Xuanlong town. It is an immeasurable creation to participate in this kind of military system innovation. This should be put into the future, enough to become a century, 1,000 years of talks. Master, Miu Miu is awake. In the hall, Yi Tianxing also slowly walked out, Cao Zhengchun said suddenly. Oh, when did you wake up? Yi Tianxing flashed a hint of interest, and a hint of ease emerged in his heart. Although I have confidence in Huoling Junye, I don't have any knowledge before I wake up. Now when I wake up, it is natural proof that this Wanling liquid is truly amazing. The most important thing is that he was interested in Nemu girl. I don't know if she is the woman in the legend. Yi Tianxing murmured with a hint of expectation. Go and see. Yi Tianxing moved his steps and walked towards the backyard guest room. It turned out to be Sister Gui Ying. We will be commensurate with our sisters in the future. I was here before, I have a sister now, and some people will talk and chat together in the future. Sister Zhao Ji, is this Xuanlong town? I really defeated the alien forces before. You must know that those aliens are very powerful. We humans are really too weak to fight with those aliens. A crisp word sounded. Although the alien race is strong, our human race is not weak. Even if our bodies are inherently weak, we can quickly become stronger through cultivation. As long as we are united, even aliens cannot insult us. As we approached the room, a conversation passed into our ears. Remember the first domain name for this book, www.4020.la. 4020 Novel Network Mobile Version Reading URL, m.4020.la. Chapter 366, Mu Guiying. Early April, ask for a guaranteed monthly pass. Brothers give some strength. Close black lens bracket. Yi Tianxing listened to the conversation in the room, reached out and knocked on the door. A maid opened the door of the room and saw Yi Tianxing's arrival. Brother Yi, you are here. Kai Yan saw the figure coming in and said with a smile, Sister Guiying, this is the owner of Xuanlong town now, and the one who will wake you up, Brother Yi Tianxing and Brother Yi. Just call him Brother Yi. This is Mu Guiying, but a strange woman who doesn't let her eyebrows go. Quote. Zongko also introduced Yi Tianxing and Mu Guiying. Sure enough, she is the only one who can be such a strange woman. Yi Tianxing heard it, and secretly groaned. really confirm the identity of the woman in front of her. There was also a peeing. Mu Guiying met Brother Yi. I was able to wake up this time and I would like to thank Brother Yi for giving elixir. Otherwise, I'm afraid Gui Ying will fall asleep forever this time and not wake up like a living dead. Mu Guiying also sincerely gave a little gift to Yi Tianxing, and began to meet. No need to be polite, this is just your good fortune. It is the condition for your father to move the entire Mujajai people to Xuanwang town in exchange. Before, it was just a transaction. You have to say thank you, I really can't afford it. Quote. Yi Tianxing said with a smile. The people in Mujajai can come to Xuanwang town and live a stable life. This is meant to benefit the people. Even if it is impossible to cure Guiying, I think, with my father's character, I heard that Xuanwang town can protect the people, will definitely agree to allow the people to come to Xuanwang town. It can protect hundreds of thousands of people and even defeat alien forces. In any case, Brother Yi is regarded as respected. Quote. Mu Guiying's expression was positive, and Zonko said. In words, there was a natural radiance in the eyebrows, without the weakness of a woman. Vigorous. Yi Tianxing looked at Mu Guiying carefully. Seeing this, I couldn't help secretly admiring it. I saw that she was lying in bed before, and fell into a coma. Naturally, she couldn't observe it completely. Now that I am awake and my color has changed, the weather is different. Even if it was him, he couldn't help secretly sighing, such a strange woman. Subconsciously, some historical records about Mu Guiying emerged. According to historical records, in some essays, Mu Guiying is the daughter of Mu Jajai Mu Yu. She is a martial artist, witty and brave. Legend has it that a goddess teaches the technique of the arrow and the flying sword. Because of the battle with Yang Zongbao before the battle, Mu Guiying captured Zongbao and recruited his wife. He was included in the Yang family and became an outstanding figure among the Yangman's female generals. Mu Guiying and the Yang family will fight together to defend the country, and repeatedly build military achievements. Tai Taijin Hai Saihua was in charge at the age of 100, led the 12 widows to march west, and Mu Guiying was 53 years old, still in the vanguard. She went deep into danger, defeated the generals, and won a great victory. It is a typical image of a heroine in Chinese history. With commanding talents, and Mulan can be said to be two inseparable women. Of course, Mu Guiying is just a young girl. The slender body and a pair of long legs outline the perfect curve. Because of the martial arts practice all year round, it can be said that the whole body curve is perfect, the chest is tall, and the sharp corners of the look, it has a kind of heroic spirit. Even if her appearance is not as good as Kai Yi's, and her temperament, she has no charm. Enchanting. At any time, the impact on men is huge. Coupled with some understanding in history, I couldn't help secretly feeling close to Mu Guiying. I don't know how Mu feels now, if there is any discomfort in her body. After all, the damage to the soul is not a trivial matter. If there is a problem, it is not trivial. Yi Tianxing asked with a smile. Thank you, Brother Yi, for taking care of me. After taking the elixir, I feel that my body is more energetic than ever before, and my mental will seems to have increased. It is several times better than before. I have never felt as good as I am now. There was also a smile on Mu Guiying's face. She felt that not only had she recovered, but she was better than before. The damage to her soul had been repaired long ago, and it was even possible that even her soul had been blessed by the disaster in this process and had grown more than a few times. This feeling is better than ever. That's good, it's just right, it's almost noon. Let's eat first, and then we can take a walk around the town and have fun. It's good to be familiar with some things in town. I believe that Xuanwang town will not let you down. Yi Tianxing looked outside and smiled and invited. It's annoying Brother Yi. Mu Guiying's character is straightforward, with decisiveness that most women do not have. He agreed without hesitation. Looking at Yi Tianxing, my heart secretly gave birth to various thoughts, and secretly groaned, this eternal continent is now the autumn of troubled times. The beast monster is more powerful than most human races. In front of those monsters, human beings can only be slaughtered, even if it is my Mujajai. At the beginning, most of the houses in the entire cottage were in existence. There was no way to contend with those monsters and beasts. Gathering the people could only provide the most basic guarantee, ICA and even fill my stomach. Every day, someone disappears and is taken by a beast. To build a strong foundation in this kind of environment, this ability is better than those elites in the typing era, Mingjun, it is difficult as Ascension. Such men are the true heroes. The curiosity of Yi Tianxing naturally grew in my heart. Xuanwang Town. A notice appeared on the notice board in town. No publicity was needed at all. When new notices appeared, the people immediately approached the past. Watch carefully. This view, one by one, could not help showing shock. It's incredible. It turned out to be a military reform. A new military system must be implemented. Jupan military system, Jupan Tianbing, Juxing Tianzhang. This is simply incredible. Jupan Tianbing is from low to high in strength and merit can be promoted as long as the merits are achieved. No one can stop the suppression. As long as there is strength, repair enough, meritorious enough, you can directly complete the promotion, no one can suppress it. This is the way to see the promotion. Quote, military ranks and ranks are fused together. The rank is a completely real rank and rank. This change is really amazing. If you do this, there will be a big mess. Is it really feasible? This is a path of promotion that is completely visible. As long as you work hard and have sufficient qualifications, you can be promoted all the way, even becoming a general and becoming a general. That is to go out and invest. In the army, promotion is not owned by others. Managed by people. Join the army to become a true strongman. Quote, here it is said that heavenly soldiers can be promoted through cultivation and merit, but to be promoted from Jupan heavenly soldier to 1-star heavenly admiral requires not only cultivation, meritorious service but also assessment of their own military skills and leadership. If they do not have the leadership, yes, then you can only be promoted to a 1-star warlord. You have the rank and status, but you cannot personally control the army. Those who have the leadership can be promoted to be a star general. The sky can lead the battle. They have the right to control the army. The generals are the battlefield generals in charge. This method can not only hinder the promotion of the army, but also select talents. The 9-grade military system is really good and suitable for the promotion of our civilians. Quote, I'm going to join the army. I was still considering whether to join the army. I didn't learn it. I wouldn't learn anything. I can't do cultural things. Joining the army now can still make a difference. A young man said firmly. After watching the notice, people who were still a little hesitant went to the barracks to prepare to join the army and become soldiers. A good Jupin military system. Jupin Tianbing does not say, as long as the cultivation is achieved, the merit is achieved, you can be promoted to reach Jupin Tianbing all the way. This strength is already quite amazing. If it has always been this way, the rank and military ranks are integrated into one. The more you get behind, the greater the hidden dangers. Some people can cultivate talents and have sufficient merits, but they do not have the ability to unite soldiers. Leading an independent leader may create a model of incompetence and kill the 3 armies. But the war it will be divided with the generals, but this hidden danger will be eliminated to the maximum. Quote, people with the ability to unite soldiers can become the generals, unite the troops, and cooperate with a powerful army. Naturally they can do everything without disadvantages. Without the ability to unite troops, they can become war generals. The war will follow the generals and stand in charge. The power is to control the battlefield. It is also a road. Both military ranks and military positions are taken into account. It is simple and clear. It is the road to promotion. This is also the road to strong army. With this system, the military strength in the entire Xuanwang town, it will definitely skyrocket in the shortest time. Quote, in other villages, there are some people with excellent eyesight and high sense of mind. After watching the notice, my heart couldn't help but be secretly shocked. It can be expected, www.novelhall.com, in order to be promoted, in order to become stronger, to become a strong person, to have a status, soldiers in the army will definitely practice hard and become stronger, and if they fight, they will also die. Fight against the enemy and earn merits. Such an army is on the battlefield, and it is a group of unstoppable army of tigers and wolves. For merit, the power that bursts out is absolutely frightening. Many foreign villagers secretly took a breath, deeply shocked by Xuanwang town's military reform. These 9 military systems can be described as a weapon in troubled times. However, even if you know the 9-grade military system, it is definitely not that easy to imitate. One is not strong enough, and the second is not necessarily suitable for them. Do you have enough troops to promote this military system? Even if you can implement it, can you guarantee the smooth implementation of this military system? Statistics of military achievements, and whether you can guarantee justice and fairness, if these are not possible. The Jupan military system will completely collapse, and there will be many flaws, and Xuanwang town will be able to carry it out. That is to ensure fairness and justice. Chapter 367, 3 months. Bottom pass guaranteed. If it were not for the special existence of Xinguang, the 9-pin military system, Yi Tianxing would never implement it, otherwise, it would be to die for himself. Therefore, to a certain extent, unless there is the same existence as Xinguang, or even a means of fair and just statistics of merit, it is impossible to copy the 9-grade military system. Even if it is copied, it may be brought by a huge hidden danger. This will openly reveal the law of the military system like the Jupin military system without hesitation. There is no fear of being copied or even targeted by others. Have the patience to come and try. The emergence of the Jupin military system has greatly stimulated the people in Xuanwang town. The number of soldiers has soared again. The number has increased significantly. For the people in other villages, a kind of deterrence has been created, especially some foreign monks. Instinctively from these 9 military systems, they feel the strong deterrent force from the army, and they really want to continue. No longer an ordinary army, but the legendary Tianbing Tianzhong. Even monks have to be strongly suppressed and swept across. A good 9-pin military system, this Yi Tianxing really has great courage. It seems that my barbarians also need to carefully consider the relationship with the human race. The strength of this Xuanwang town is definitely above the tribe. Quote, a tall man with a burly skin and animal skin was carrying an axe, and when he looked at the notice, there was no trace of dignity in his eyes. It is Niu Ben, the brute strong. It is clear how great the impact will be once it is successfully implemented. This is the law of strong army. It seems that it is necessary to have a good relationship with the human race, perhaps with this Xuanwang town. The world today is too dangerous. There are not many people in the tribe, and any one of them is a huge loss. A strong dwarf with red copper skin exudes a strong visual impact. It is the dwarf's bronze hammer. Regardless of whether it was Niuban or bronze hammer, almost all of them had entered Xuanwang town before the battle between Xuanwang town and the aliens. Although they did not actually strike, they have witnessed the war. I personally felt the cruelty of the war and even the power of Xuanwang town. Whether it was the battle of defending the city, or the last confrontation in the underground. They both witnessed it with their own eyes. For this, Yi Tianxing didn't seem to cover up at all, and let them observe at will. This kind of demeanor made them feel a little respect, at least they asked themselves if they could not do it in their own territory. This can even be said to be a confidence in strength. Now witnessing the Jupin military system, it seems that it can already be seen that a strong gathering place of human race is rising. Like the rising sun. Let them also start to make some kind of decision. The next day, the barbarian cattle rushed out of Xuanwang town. On the third day, the dwarven bronze hammer left Xuanwang town. Time is quietly passing. Unconsciously, 3 months have passed. In these 3 months, it can be said that the entire town of Xuanwang has undergone drastic changes. It can be seen that in the surroundings, there are cultivated fields everywhere, with golden rice growing on them, shining in the sun to represent the light of hope, very gorgeous and colorful, and the people around them are looking after them, watching the surrounding golden patches. In the rice field, there is a feeling of joy from the heart. This fruitful food is hope, and life is skyrocketing. In the vicinity, you can also see that vegetable fields are being cultivated. It is planted with various vegetables and fruits. Moreover, it is amazing that the size of these vegetables and fruits is much larger than the original one. Have you ever seen a cabbage that can grow to 1 person tall, and you can see that ordinary eggplants can grow to a 4 or 5-year-old child? Laugh, the eggplant tree grows a few meters high. All these scenes show that the environment here has undergone earth-shaking changes compared with the original. The existence of the vitality of the earth and the earth has allowed ordinary vegetables to grow and transform amazingly. Although it is not a Reiki vegetable, it has grown up under the nourishment of heaven and earth, completely broke the original limit, and has a more delicious taste. As time goes by, it may be transformed into aura vegetables. But this obviously takes a short time. At least for now, there is a faint aura in these vegetables. This aura will only make the vegetables taste more delicious. Nothing else. 3 months. It can be seen that Xuanwang town, which was originally a little rundown, has completely changed. Buildings are standing up. The scale of these buildings is very large. Except for the basic building facilities, there are the most residential houses. Gathered together, densely. The east is divided, and a military and political building of the type with 2 doors and 6 halls is specially built. The residential area turned to the north. To the west is the barracks position and to the south is the bazaar. Almost all of the dense residential buildings converge on the north side. Of course, there are also mansion buildings in other places. But the numbers are scarce. Those are residences dedicated to the town's dignitaries. Regardless of the area, the scale of the mansion is more refined and luxurious than ordinary people. Huang Chengyan, they have all moved in. Living in these residences is also a status symbol. The most lively is the location of the market. In that area, a large number of visitors from other villages gathered to trade and talk. Can be described as quite lively. Full of strong commercial atmosphere. The people in the town often go to the market for a few laps. In particular, Xuanwang town's influence spread completely after the war. The number of ordinary refugees who keep coming every day can reveal this. Not to mention, the villages in the surrounding area are almost completely centered on Xuanwang town, and exchanges and transactions have really made the town prosperous and have the true human race city. Said to be a town, in fact, it is more prosperous and huge than some ancient cities in ancient times. The population of the town has officially broken through to over 400,000. Everything is almost on track. Xuanwang town is flourishing. At the barracks, over 100,000 soldiers have been recruited. The 9-grade military system has been thoroughly implemented. Almost every soldier has begun to practice hard after getting in, and strive for all opportunities to become stronger. Want to stand out from the crowd. Under the ever-increasing strength of the barracks, repairs increased almost daily. Every day someone breaks through. Really grow up. A group of generals, such as Yang Yi and Wang Dahu, have made rapid progress, opening up the 12 canonical sects and 8 classic sacred veins, directly condensing the spring of God. Breaking through to the first level of Shengquan, the cultivation itself is combined with merit and directly promotes the real second-grade heaven soldier, but in essence, it is still the general's vacillation. In the town, the people who joined one after another can no longer see the original embarrassment on their faces. Each one is full of self-confidence. Almost have been promoted to monks. Open up the sea of God. Essence of spirit, naturally very different. The most important thing is that even his own character seems to be affected by Zan Wangjin and becomes fierce. This is a unique influence, a change that is subtle. House. Inside the hall, Yi Tianxing is gathering with Huang Chengyan and others. A group of important people such as Huang Chengyan, Lu Shi, Shui Jin, Jia Yi, Wu Yang, Yang Yi gathered here. There was a faint tremor between the looks. Prince, is it too risky to privatize now? Huang Chengyan hesitated slightly and said. Yes, once it is privatized, it means that the situation of this kind of big pot rice is completely over, and there is no free meal to enjoy. If you want to get anything, you must pay the corresponding price and labor. In the process, you must first prepare a large number of currencies. Stabilize the overall situation. By then, rich and poor, strong and weak, will begin to emerge. Quote. Shui Jin also nodded. Otherwise, I think it's the best time to start privatizing and break the situation of the big pot rice. The longer it lasts, the greater the impact will be. If you have your own private property, only when people have the motivation and the goal of struggle can they complete the transition smoothly as long as they have a certain degree and are fully prepared. Quote. Wu Yang shook his feather fan and said. It's true. The population in Xuanwang town has reached a rather staggering number. Moreover, people have already begun to float because of the market opening. Many people have acquired their own property after investigating when I walked in the neighborhood. Thoughts. This kind of desire is also a good side. There is desire for development. Only the fire of civilization can be born. What you strive to earn belongs to you, not to everyone. Only enough will be produced. Power. Jia Yi also nodded in agreement. www.novelhall.com. If public ownership is fully implemented, the pot of rice will become a pool of standing water in the whole force. The standing water cannot support true dragons, and fish and shrimp cannot be retained, only living water. In order to raise big dragons, I have decided to end the cauldron and start privatization. Moreover, I have already made specific preparations. The most fundamental part of privatization is currency, and money is ready. It is enough to support the completion of this time. Transition. As long as we get through the initial difficulties, everything else will come naturally. We will accept the new rules and regulations in a subtle way. Quote. Yi Tianxing opened his mouth and made his conclusion. What was discussed this time was exactly how to end the cauldron and really start privatization and self-reliance. This is a major event concerning the entire people's livelihood. If the population of more than 400,000 people continues to do so, it will definitely not be conducive to the development and growth of Xuanwang Town. Accomplishing this transition is already a matter ahead. The sooner you go, the better. Xuanwang Town, no one is idle, no one can get everything for nothing. Chapter 368, Amazing Wealth. For subscription, monthly ticket. Close black lens bracket. For 3 months, in order to build Xuanwang Town and prepare for privatization, Yi Tianxing waited for 3 months. More than 400,000 people have gathered together, and there are thousands of wish beads condensed on the money tree every day. The same is true of magic beads. May the Lizu not be used, only the magic rosary. After 3 months, it will be 100,000 magic rosary, cast into eternal coins. The number is as large as tens of millions. If even Lizu would use it to mint eternal coins, it would be possible to mint more than 20 million eternal coins in the shortest time. In ancient times, in some dynasties, tax revenue for a year may not even reach 10 million. Only in Xuanwang Town, circulation is in the hands of more than 400,000 people, even if they join other villages. The more than 10 million eternal coins are also sufficient to support operation. You know, eternity is no ordinary currency. With 1 eternal coin, you can buy 100 pounds of mixed rice, which is the rice planted now, which is white rice and hulled rice. 100 pounds of mixed rice is enough for one person to eat for 10 days and a half months, or even longer. This is still a monk, and his appetite has increased greatly. Otherwise, you can eat for a longer time and save a bit of food. A month can pass. By ensuring food and clothing, you can stabilize the situation. Make sure there is no turmoil in town. If it really counts, there are probably 1 million eternal coins that can support the operation and complete the transition, but there are risks, and now more than 10 million are prepared. If necessary, even more than 10 million can be minted later. I don't believe that such a powerful background can't be transformed at once. Opening private ownership is a change that historical civilization must make. To complete the transition, it is nothing more than money. Our Xuanwang Town is no less abundant than other towns. We have plenty of food to eat and drink. Moreover, I have prepared 10 million eternal coins. Now that the granary is plentiful, everything is ready, but it is only due to the east wind. This is an imperative, Yi Tianxing said decisively. The firmness in words shows his firm determination and cannot be shaken. It turned out that 10 million eternal coins have been minted. With such a large amount of money support, the transition of private ownership can definitely be carried out smoothly, and it can greatly stimulate the enthusiasm of all people. Really promote the currency system. Become real mainstream currency. Quote. Shui Jin's eyes brightened. He came from a businessman. He naturally knows the importance of currency and money. In this transformation of private ownership, he sees it more deeply than others. It is clear that only privatization can generate more creativity. Power, business can be formed, and currency can really circulate. This is like a direct conversion from standing water to living water. Now that the population of Xuanwang Town has greatly increased, we cannot continue this kind of cauldron. Private ownership can inspire enthusiasm. Otherwise, it is nothing but vainness. On the contrary, it will play a role in the development of the town. It turned out that the prince already had a good idea and Zhezhu was holding it. With such a lot of money, it is enough to complete the transition. It is old and self-supporting. Huang Chengyan heard that he was also very happy. I didn't agree with it before because I was afraid that there would be omissions during the transition. This is a great harm to the people who have just settled in Xuanwang Town, who has just settled down. It is difficult to estimate the fluctuations in human heart caused. No one could have imagined that Yi Tianxing could mint such a large number of eternal coins in such a short period of time. Speaking out, it can scare people. The eternal currency is amazing, but everyone knows that in the surrounding villages, the longing for the eternal currency is unknown. Only the eternal coins spread to the village, they will only be collected, and only a small amount will be distributed to some important high-level officials. In this case, the amount of eternal coins actually spread is too small. In addition, it is a consumable that needs to be practiced every day. The practice of using eternity coins and then practicing it by myself is a difference between heaven and earth. This is spiritual resources, not just ordinary currency. No matter how much, it will be consumed. In particular, one of the things that mints eternal coins is in the hands of Yi Tianxing himself. No one can intervene and no one knows how many can be minted. However, it is also guessed that it is definitely not easy to mint. The resources consumed and the treasures consumed are extremely huge. After all, you can grow and repair. Moreover, it can increase the speed of cultivation. I do and know how much better than spar. If such a currency can be easily minted, it is simply impossible. Certainly need some kind of precious item. Now it's 10 million pieces at a time, what an amazing number. Such a currency, the method of minting, if it is held in the hands of no one, it is not safe, and there are hidden dangers. Only by Yi Tianxing's personal control can we not let people have other bad ideas. This kind of currency is not like the money in the world. Only when it is in the hands of the Lord, is it the way to do it. This is tantamount to controlling the lifeblood of the entire force, and no one can do without scruples. This is also the biggest capital insider. Well, such an amazing wealth can not only support the transformation of the town, but also completely support the currency circulation of the nearby villages. Let eternal currency truly replace all currencies and become the most mainstream currency. So, in name, basically, our Xuanwang town is enough to control the lifeblood of the nearby villages. In fact, you can gather a large number of villages without moving the swordsman. Get attached. Strengthen the strength. Quote. Jia Yan's eyes brightened, and his thoughts kept flowing, and he quickly said. He looks farther, step by step, this is the opportunity. In troubled times, big fish eat small fish. It is logical for the weak to cling to the strong. Among them, naturally, there needs to be a bridge, and there must be reasons for attachment. Money is a perfect bridge. Any power in charge of currency issuance has a natural advantage for the surrounding powers. Strong influence, this influence can be deeply rooted in people's hearts. Have awe and natural intimacy. The benefits of this influence can be compared to 100,000 elite troops. Well, with such a huge amount of wealth as the backing, private ownership can begin. I agree with it. Lu Shi nodded and said nothing more. Can't be in a hurry, you should plan slowly. It takes at least a month to make the transition. If the distribution of real estate is carried out, the pressure on the town will be great. Limitations must be imposed. I suggest that this should be limited. In the town, there are men and women who are married as husband and wife, and they will be given homes for free. They are owned by themselves. If single men and women share their homes, they do not belong to themselves. They still belong to Xuanwang town. It can be private, married to a woman's residence, and reintroduced to the public. In this way, it can ease the housing tension. Second, it can encourage men and women to mate and start a family. Starting a new life, multiplying children, letting my family inherit and continue. Quote. There was a touch of wisdom in Huang Chengyan's eyes, and he stepped forward and said. Well said, Brother Cheng Yan, this method can ease the problems of the town's residents, and can calm the people in the town. Now, in the eternal continent, it can be said that almost everyone is a ruined country. Wi-Fi on scattered, the heart itself has sorrow, but unfortunately, even if there is sorrow, it is difficult to see each other. As time goes by, it is inevitable that there will be fluctuations. If you can let the people in the town, the union of men and women, and start a family, you can naturally make this floating heart repressing it will even give birth to vitality and revitalize it. 3 can multiply the children. For my people's heritage, only with reproduction can we be angry. Only with home can we have roots. Quote. Jia Yu heard, his eyes brightened, and he clapped his hands and sighed. Well, in this case, the transition must be properly prepared. 3 days later, a notice will be issued, the palace of mansion, preparing to distribute food, formulating the deed, all the information, and entering the destiny card. There must be no omissions. Yi Tianxing nodded his head and spoke directly to make a decision. Yes, Lord. Jia Yan and others all bowed and promised. Time flicked. 3 days passed quietly. During these 3 days, no small movements also occurred. For example, bags of rice in granaries are constantly being counted. There are carts of eternal coins in wooden boxes, directly sent into the Wanbao Hall, where the eternal coins are piled up like a mountain. Even when carrying, a wooden box fell down on the car, exposing the golden eternal coin inside. At that moment, many people's hearts felt like they should stop beating. Secretly guessed why this eternal coin was sent to the mansion. Dang dang, there was a sudden sound of crisp gongs in the notice board. A new notice has appeared on it. Naturally, a group of ordinary people came over, www.novelhall.com, seeing this, all the sounds of horror continued to sound. You can hear the sound of breathing down. Oh my god, something big is happening. This is the decision of the principal to open the private ownership and end the big pot. This means that in the future, everyone will not be able to get food for free. Meals, if you want to fill your stomach, you can only rely on your own hands to earn. Unbelievable, it says that people in the town can go to the Wanbao Hall to collect free supplies once by virtue of their celestial card. 1. If a man and a woman are married, they can receive a home for free and own a deed. Since then, they have to take care of themselves. The town will no longer control it. Quote, self-reliance, there is wages for work. Even craftsmen are recruited in the town, there are wages paid. There are craftsmen who can make items and buy and sell. You can hunt and kill ferocious beasts. Selling feral beast meat and materials to get money, you can trade with each other and earn the resources you need. Quote, Chapter 369, Private Ownership. Since then, Xuanwang Town has only been responsible for the area. The residents are not safe. They do not provide free supplies. The resources needed are obtained by themselves. They can obtain amazing family wealth. They are still poor. They rely on their own capabilities to set up kanji sheds. To provide minimum protection to those who have just entered Xuanwang Town. Quote, a notice appeared directly in the eyes of the people. Naturally, there were readers who spoke quickly to read the contents of the notice. Word of mouth. In an instant, the entire town of Xuanwang had become unknown and unknown. Someone laughed on the spot and said, okay. It's so good. I finally waited until this day. I am an ancestral craftsman. I made gold and silver jewelry, all kinds of jade carvings, stone carvings, jewelry and pearl flowers. I also said that this technique is not known to be used. Now it seems that this is the foundation of my life. All my cultivation resources depend on this technique. Quote, a middle-aged man is full of self-confidence, his face frowning, and very excited. His craft is to make all kinds of gold and silver jewelry. Although exquisite, in the troubled times, this kind of craft is of no use. It cannot make money or rations. Really useless. Now finally wait until this day, when the private ownership is open, everyone can confidently earn a living and get food, this technique is useful. Now the town has a strong strength and can ensure the safety of the town. For the past 3 months, although there are fierce the beast monster smashed. However, the beast was blocked outside the Iron Blood Great Wall and killed directly. The beast was insurmountable and was easily killed by the Arrow Tower Magic Tower. Safe in town, now it's open and innovative. It's natural for a woman to love fine jewelry, such as gold and silver jewelry. Now that she has settled down, she will definitely eat without worry. This is the foundation of life. My opportunity has come. I thought that before the cataclysm, I was a well-known underwear designer in the country who designed many best-selling underwear. Even if they entered the Eternal Continent, not many women could resist the appeal of perfect underwear. Not to mention, I have the piece of heaven and earth that I got in my hand. It is seamless with my skills. It is a perfect match. Fortunately, I have not lost that treasure. This Xuanwang town is now also in the Eternal Continent. It's a safe place. It's also a good thing to settle here. I do end like the killing. There are interesting designs there. Quote, there was a hint of joy in the eyes of a young woman, and she seemed to have a strange intellectual temperament. Also overflowing with a kind of confidence. After hearing about open private ownership, I have started to figure out how I can live a better life in town. All she can rely on is her craftsmanship and talent. As a woman, she knew that women were the least resistant to their clothes. Everyone will like beautiful clothes. Beauty is common to women, and monks are no exception. The women's clothes in the town are too monotonous now. Underwear is still in the belly band. This is not good, it is very bad, you must correct it. I heard that in Yi Tianxing's mayor's mansion, there is a strange treasure called a cloud loom, which can weave a peculiar mat of brocade. Now we have woven a lot. It is said that this brocade is better than any previous cloth. It's all magic. Not only is it gentle, but it's very comfortable to wear on the body. With such a cloth, the clothes will be more exquisite. Quote, the woman murmured expectantly. The cloud loom has not been overly concealed, and some of the brocades have also been woven, but they have not been released immediately. Now the private ownership will definitely circulate. There are many such people. Many people originally felt that they had extraordinary abilities, but before they could not fully exert them. Now they have released their restrictions and become self-reliant, and they can have a better life. Get more food. Without hesitation, some people have already started to go to the Wanbaodian. With their natural card, they have received a bag of rice and 10 eternal coins. The current place of residence will not change for the time being. As long as there are men and women marrying and forming a new family, the deed will be issued to obtain their own residence. To receive a copy of the supplies, there are records on the destiny card. These are directly entered into the star network. If you can watch it, you can find that there are hundreds of thousands of small stars in the star network now shining with a lot of information. Everyone receives meritorious service, and even other information, will be recorded in the star network and become a historical record, which can be consulted at any time. For now, after receiving the materials, there will be a record on the Tianji card. It is impossible to pretend to receive the second time. This method has no flaws and no flaws. It can be said to be very advanced. Eternal coin, this is eternal coin. I can feel that there is pure energy in it. As long as I am willing, I can absorb refining and become my own cultivation. There is a mysterious power on it that can increase the speed of cultivation. In my hands, feels God's eyes are clear, really amazing. Quote. Some people were carrying a bag of rice and holding 10 eternal coins in their hands. Stand outside and watch carefully. On the eternal coin, the eternal and dark yellow ancient fonts make people feel a kind of vastness. Zonko blew towards the top, and the holes gave out crisp and pleasant crisp sounds. It was very beautiful, and the inside was perfect for everyone's currency. Aesthetics. Love is born in my heart. Hold it in your hand. Almost addicted. Not many people have been able to buy eternal coins before. Holding it in my hand now can feel the weight of it, and the joy in my heart is very strong. You know, 1 eternal coin can be exchanged for 100 pounds of rice. With these 10 eternal coins, you won't starve to death. Moreover, you can use this capital to make money and earn more. Food became the first startup fund. It turned out to open the resources directly, so that the entire town of Xuanwang was transformed towards privatization. It is so bold that everyone issued 10 eternal coins. In the town, according to our understanding, there are already more than 400,000 people. This expenditure amounted to more than 4 million eternal coins. It is incredible, it is an incalculable and powerful heritage. Some people in other villages saw that they could not help but take a breath. If we were also the people in Xuanwang town, it would be nice to be able to receive 10 eternal coins for free. How can we not encounter such a good thing? But now that the people have money in their hands, they will definitely come to buy things. Pass it back and let the village prepare more special products and transport them to Xuanwang town. This time there are special products, and they will definitely not worry about selling them. Quote. Some people are overjoyed. People have money in their hands, and they will definitely spend it, even if it is a part, millions of eternal coins, even if they only get a part, it is an unimaginable wealth. Even ordinary people issue eternal coins. This is to really promote eternal coins to become the most mainstream currency. It is awful, really awful. The status of eternal coins will never be shaken in the future. Someone just shook his body and saw the hidden meaning inside. The eternal coin has completely turned into money and is completely circulated in the town. The significance of that representation is really amazing. It means that the town already has enough heritage and sufficient eternal coins to support this operation. The impact of this is really too great. The privatization process is underway under the auspices of Huang Chengyan and others. There is the deterrence of the army, the original kindness, and even the reason that the human heart originally wanted to go to private ownership. This kind of transition is proceeding quickly and smoothly. In particular, many people immediately took eternal coins, went to buy some materials, and started making various items. Ready to show off. At the moment, in the core space, Yi Tianxing's figure appeared directly in space. The cash cow has grown so high. It's not easy. Yi Tianxing looked at the cash cow standing in the void. It can be seen that the money tree is already 4 or 5 meters high, and its branches have become thicker and longer. It was shining with gold and white light. In the void, you can see that snow-white eternal coins appear out of thin air, converging on a cash cow. Add bricks to it. Wow! With a slight movement, on the money tree, you can see that each eternal coin that has been transformed into gold falls from the tree. Collided together, it made a crisp sound, fell to the ground, and piled up like a mountain. This is a renewed accumulation of pure energy. Can continue to circulate. Along with it, there are white and black beads, one by one, such as Ming jewelry. The speed of converging the will is more than 2 or 3 times faster than before. This should be the benefit of the real circulation of the currency. www.novelhall.com, Formerly, more than 400,000 people can thousands of wishing beads and thousands of magic beads are gathered. Now this is 2 or 3 times faster. One day, maybe 2 or 3,000 wishing beads and magic beads can be gathered. This benefit is really too great. Now, quote, feeling the desire and desire gathered on the money tree like a trickling stream. The speed of condensed beads and magic beads is too fast, as if there is living water at the source. The eternal coin has the magic rosary in it, and it can completely make the most sufficient reserve. In this case, I hope Lizu can give me all the refining and casting the fairy city. Looking at the dense wish beads, Yi Tianxing took the initiative and made a decision without hesitation. One by one, the wish beads flew up, turned into liquid in the magic flame, disappeared quickly, and merged into the supreme embryo. It can be seen that, at the most marginal position of the embryo, a series of jade-like rays circulate. In a small area, at a speed that is visible to the naked eye, it condenses from the illusion into a substance, and a crystal jade color emerges. It looks as if it was cast from flawless white jade. Approximately 5 meters in size becomes substantial. It is a real embryo. Chapter 370. Full of luck. Find a monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. Moreover, these condensed into a substantial part, conveying an immortal breath, but also instinctively converge the heaven and earth vitality, as if there is an invisible attraction that naturally pulls the heaven and earth vitality into itself, making the jade like on the embryonic body. Layers of strange treasures are emitted, and the vitality of the world in the area is stronger than in other places. The immortal city cast by willing Lizu is a cave-like existence in itself. Where it is the supreme land. This is the great magical difference that Lizu casts the supreme artifact. Lizu and the embryo of the supreme artifact are fused together to create the boundless creations naturally created. Well, now the currency has begun to circulate, and, with everyone's approval, the desire to converge, the speed of desire has greatly increased, and the efficiency has also greatly increased. Thousands of wish beads can be obtained every day, and then spread out. Increasing influence can completely increase the output of wishly beads. Every day, some embryos can be condensed into solids. Sooner or later, a complete fairy city can be completely cast. Quote, Yi Tianxing secretly rejoiced. The growth of the cash cow has greatly increased the speed and efficiency of casting the fairy city. It is a natural and subtle process. This also means that the better the development of Xuanwang town, the faster the speed of casting the fairy city. This made him see the hope of casting the supreme artifact. Sure enough, the transformation of the private ownership system is a promotion for civilization. The gas transportation in the Tianqi of Qian skyrocketed so much at once. As long as the change of the system is helpful, it will bring about good changes. There will be a skyrocketing growth rate. This growth rate is more than 10 times faster than before. The Qian in Tianqi is already full. Quote, looking at the tone of Yuntianqi, I can see that there is already a full pool of Qian water, which emits a surplus of white light. It looks very amazing. The golden ichthyosaur is simmering in it, spitting the Qian water. The body becomes longer than before. The scales on the body are more fine. Give off a strong layer of golden light. By the time of luck, the invisible spirit had already been incorporated into his body. Let its body grow. This is a good thing. The spirit of Qian continues to grow stronger, which means that it is constantly growing, the heritage of Xuanwang town is increasing, and Qian is flourishing. The Qian Tianqi is full, the spirit of Qian is powerful, and it has reached the extreme of Shenzhen. At any time, you can break through the promotion and reach the level of Shancheng, and the Qian position will be guaranteed. It will reach another level. However, it is not difficult to make a breakthrough. The difficulty is that this breakthrough promotion will inevitably lead to calamity. No one knows how strong this calamity will be. The last promotion led to the undead army. Defeated, but that's just the time when the undead army appeared, with certain restrictions. Otherwise, maybe it will pose a huge threat to Xuanwang town. This time to be promoted, there must be an army invasion, which may cause damage. The previous time was terrible. You must be fully prepared. Quote, Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Even if you have reached the extreme position of Shenzhen, you don't dare to decide promotion easily. As last time, as soon as the thought of promotion arises in my heart, I immediately felt a huge crisis in the midst. Obviously, promotion must go through a test of heaven and earth. It can even be said that this is a calamity that must be endured. It is inevitable. Air transport needs to continue to accumulate. Air transport overflows, not to disappear. It just floats over the air transport Tianqi, and floats in the core space. It does not disappear. Once it breaks through the position, it will be turned into accumulation and become real benefits. The private ownership will be thoroughly implemented first, and it is time for my cultivation to make a breakthrough. The Sea of God is not enough to withstand the constant danger. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and had made a decision in his heart. After 3 months of warming up, there is a strong cultivation speed of Xuanwang Junqi Yun blessing, and the increase brought by eternal coin. The speed of cultivation can be said to be thousands of miles a day, and there is no shortage of resources for cultivation. There is also plenty of time. Now in Shanghai, a strong heritage has been accumulated, and the true yuan is increasing every moment. Even if it is not cultivated, it is growing. The real yuan is like water, with every extra drop, the heritage is rich. The original Shanghai area has accumulated 1/10, covered by chaotic colored true elements. Enough to support a long and fierce fighting. It can be said that the foundation is already quite strong. The accumulated true value over 3 months is enough to work hard with ordinary monks for decades, or even longer. Fully have the qualifications and background to break through to life and consciousness. There must be a breakthrough. There is no essential difference in combat power between Shanghai realm and Phaeton realm, but a real breakthrough can increase Shouyuan and complete the last leap in life. Transformation, Shanghai realm Shouyuan the limit can only be obtained for 300 years. The life and longevity can reach 600 years. Practice is the way of longevity. Quote. Seeing that the core space has been on the right track, Qian Tianqi has also steadily increased, fully proving that private ownership is of great benefit to the development of civilization, and it is extremely correct. As long as it is maintained, the transition can be successfully completed, and it may even make Xuanwang Qiqian skyrocketed again. Without hesitation, leave the core space. Howl. As soon as he returned to the ground, a loud scream rang out in the void. Looking up, in the distance, a golden lightning burst into the air. When you approach, you can see clearly that it is not lightning but Jin Peng. In 3 months, Jin Peng's body size increased again, reaching a level of terror of more than 100 meters. More sacred than before, the sharpness in his eyes, even if the monk saw it, would give him a feeling like a needle in his back. Quite terrible. It's Jin Peng, the host's pet. Jin Peng is back, and I don't know where it has been in the past few months. The people in the town saw and showed such an expression, they didn't care. Already used to as usual. Jin Peng fell quickly and landed on an arrow tower. After Yi Tianxing frowned slightly, he stepped forward and stepped on the ground, his body rising into the air and falling on Jin Peng's back again. Don't leave me. A green light flashed, only to see that the emperor's eyes were shining, shouting loudly, and he was about to jump on Jin Peng's back. Howl. But Jin Peng didn't hesitate, spread his wings again, soared into the sky with Yi Tianxing, and broke into the distance. Very fast, like the same golden lightning, cut through the sky. Everywhere he went, many venomous birds subconsciously evaded Jin Peng. Jin Peng did not want the Green Emperor to stand on his back at all. Gently glanced at it, it just flew away. Don't want to leave the Emperor, you know, the Emperor is a flying dog. But the Green Emperor was not afraid. A strange green wind emerged from his body. When he rolled up his body, he rushed into the air. In the air, the 2 dogs grabbed the feathers on Jin Peng's tail and died. Hang on the back. Yi Tianxing didn't speak, but just watched the surrounding scenery quietly. After Jin Peng returned, a message passed to his mind. This was where Jin Peng asked him to follow. In this regard, Yi Tianxing didn't hesitate. As for what happened, when he got to the place, he could know it clearly and didn't ask. Just watching the surrounding scene. Taking my Xuanwang town as the center, there are not a few nearby villages. These villages have the support of Xuanwang town and receive sufficient food. They have basically started to gain a foothold and set a foundation. The population is tens of thousands and the population is small, there are hundreds or thousands. However, there is still a need to face the threat of fierce monsters, and the aliens that may appear are the biggest threat. Quote. If these villages are destroyed, they are not beautiful, but if they are forcibly seized, they will be unreasonable and they will be attacked unreasonably. At the beginning, there may be nothing. Weaknesses. The reputation will not look so good. It is too ugly to eat, and it will be less popular. Quote. Let it be, step by step, you don't need me to attack, you just need to deepen the influence of myself and Xuanwang town in these villages. As long as you get a chance, you can naturally be defeated without fighting. That is the means. Quote. Blindly conquering battles is a reckless husband. It can be done in a war, but if you want to make a big deal, it will look too small. There is not enough temperament to retain any talent. What's more, aliens can forcibly conquer. This is righteous to the human race and represents justice. If they kill and conquer the same race at will, it is irrational and unreasonable. Unless you find excuses and reasons. Moreover, human beings hit their own people, which is not what Yi Tianxing wants to see most. To kill the aliens, kill the ferocious beast. In meditation, Jin Peng has flown through mountains and rivers. Span large areas. In many areas, Yi Tianxing felt vaguely that there was a terrible air of dormancy that seemed to be some kind of terrible beast monster, but there was no block to Jin Peng. First, Jin Peng Fei is too high, www.novelhall.com. Second, it is too fast. Air travel has inherent advantages. After a while, the golden color in front of me changed, and suddenly, a huge mountain appeared, rising high. This mountain peak can be said to be quite precipitous. It stands tall, with strange stones all over it, and the fog is connected. There is no way to climb. There are thousands of feet high. There are some strange trees and flowers growing on the cliffs. After Jin Peng arrived, he made an exclamatory scream. Directly rushed to the top of the mountain. Looking closely, on the top of the mountain, you can see that there is a huge natural cave. The size of the cave is hundreds of meters just by the entrance. Even counting that, it is simply a huge platform. Like a platform in a cave. The air machine inside is the Aeolus Pterosaur King. Immediately after approaching, Yi Tianxing felt that the air machine passing through was very familiar, and it was the breath of Function Wing Dragon King. Jin Peng quickly entered the cave. Yi Tianxing also jumped down and stood on the ground. Chapter 371, Egg. Oh, Jin Peng, this guy has treacherous feelings. I smelled a strong treacherous feeling. There is not only Jin Peng's breath, but also a female bird's breath. Jin Peng even flutters the bird girl here. The Green Emperor loosened Jin Peng's tail and rolled on the ground. Then he sniffed with his nose, and there was a dull murmur in his eyes. The voice was full of wonder. But I immediately returned to my heart and jumped up. I jumped on the spot and yelled, "Hello, Jin Peng, my emperor was born and died in Xuanwang town, the blood was slaughtered, the blood bleed, and the tears came. Even if I flutter the bird girl outside, I am very happy, it's just that the owner can tolerate it, the dog can't tolerate it. My heart is hurt." Quote. How pitiful the emperor is. I fluttered a flower girl and was hung up and beaten by my master. It was hung for 7 days and 7 nights. It was called a miserable, also the master's pet. Why can you beat my sister, and I can only watch? The flower girl couldn't make it. I disapprove, the owner is unfair. Quote. The Green Emperor shouted. The voice was sharp and harsh, the expression, the appearance, was an injustice even more than Due. That grievance must shake the ground and overturn the entire cave. Tears looked at Yi Tianxing. If you are unfair, I will cry to show you the expression. With the appearance of the Green Emperor, plus this expression, Yi Tianxing was stared at it, and suddenly felt an awful chill. He kicked it without hesitation, and uttered a voice in his mouth, "Get out of me. I want a bitch, I want a bitch." The emperor's eyes were all green and growled loudly, "I'm going back, I'm looking for my flower girl, waiting for the emperor to spoil you." Why can even Jin Peng be a girl? But the emperor has to watch it. A lonely person is not allowed, absolutely not allowed. I want to go back to my flower girl. No matter how many difficulties and dangers, no amount of risk, I will never give up. Quote. My emperor will not be a single dog. My emperor is going to be a dog breeder. He must not be a single dog. I'm going to find my flower girl. Having said that, the Green Emperor has rushed out no matter how enough, set up a green wind, and broke away in the direction when it came. Stupid dog, want to flutter your flower girl, when no one is looking. Yi Tianxing saw a twitch in the corner of his mouth and a cold hum. This voice didn't seem to be big, but it passed directly to the emperor's ear. The Green Emperor's body shook, and he immediately became 100-fold. I shouted and rushed out. The eyes are glowing. At this moment, if anyone dares to stand in front of it, it will definitely be torn into pieces by the emperor. You can even hear the flower girl chanting constantly in the mouth of the Green Emperor. Jin Peng, this guy really caught up with the Function Wing Dragon King. It was really interesting. Yi Tianxing couldn't help looking at the hole, showing a strange color. Go in step by step. When I went in, I found that there was no darkness at all in this cave. Instead, it showed a colorful color, strange and strange, very amazing. Mushrooms, glowing mushrooms. With a fixed eye, there are colorful mushrooms growing on the walls and on the ground around the cave, each of which is at least the size of a washbasin. It emits colorful light and fills the whole with fantasy colors. Dispelled the darkness. There is a fragrant smell. It turned out to be a dream mushroom. Good thing, this is the top ingredient. Yi Tianxing's eyes brightened, and he had already got the message of this mushroom in his mind. Generally speaking, the more vivid the mushrooms, the more highly toxic they are. If they are not eaten, they will die. Some mushrooms are more toxic than poisonous snakes. Very domineering and weird. Mushrooms are fungi. Dream mushroom. A top-grade ingredient, this kind of mushroom is very rare and presents colorful colors. When eaten, it can give people a wonderful feeling like a dream, which is very rare and rare. Grade the highest grade huang. Although the grade is not high, as a food ingredient, this is definitely quite attractive. This is especially true for food. Good things, really good things. Mushrooms and mushrooms are always famous for their deliciousness. If you cook with top cooking skills, it is definitely the most delicious food. I have felt the hunger transmitted by the food cells in my body. Quote. Don't even think about it, pick up these fantastic mushrooms quickly. He was sent to Dantian Mingchao and planted in Lingtian. Although not completely dug out, but also politely took away most of it. Such good things must not be missed. If you eat this kind of food, it will definitely increase the physical strength again. Although the cultivation of the strong cow demon body can increase the physical strength, it is still incomparable with the food. There is joy in my heart. All the way into the cave. But after entering, Yi Tianxing's face could not help showing a look of surprise. Only seen in the cave. Jin Peng is cuddling with the Function Wing Dragon King. It looks like they are quite intimate. They look at each other with a touch of tenderness. The most important thing is that they can be seen near and under the Function Wing Dragon King. There are golden eggs the size of a human head. Looking at it densely, I am afraid that there are no less than a few hundred of this number. Looks startling. Even the corners of Yi Tianxing's mouth could not help but twitch. Some hundreds of eggs were laid at once. What is this kind of bird? Is this the egg born by Jin Peng and this Wind God Wing Dragon King? This quantity is too much. It's too scary. Pterosaurs have mutated, the world has changed, and there is no reason. Even the ability to lay eggs has become so much stronger. Quote. Lamented in his heart, there was not much emotion on his face. Function Winglong King also looked at Yi Tianxing, but there was no intention of killing in his eyes, but he looked at the golden eggs around him softly. You can feel that in these eggs, there is a powerful vitality, which is gestating life. Jin Peng and the mutated eeless pterosaur king don't know what the nurtured child will become. However, if it hatched out, an air cavalry can be formed in Xuanwang town. With their strong blood, no matter what kind of birth, the offspring will be extremely powerful. Good, Jin Peng, this is a huge surprise for you. Quote. A flash of light flashed through my mind. The formation of air cavalry with the descendants of Jinpeng and Function Pterosaur King was powerful enough to cross the battlefield. Howl. Jin Peng followed Function Winglong for a while, came to Yi Tianxing, bit his clothes with his mouth, and gestured towards those golden eggs. At the same time, a thought passed from his mind to Yi Tianxing's mind. You mean you want me to bring these eggs back? Yi Tianxing understood what Jin Peng meant. Looked at Function Pterodactyl again, it was found that it did not make any objections. Okay, then bring your children and offspring back, and place them on a mountain near Xuanwang town first. Then, you can safely incubate these golden eggs. I will collect these eggs first. Yi Tianxing nodded his head, without pretending. This is exactly what he wants. During the wave, hundreds of golden eggs were all collected in the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower. The tower could store the living life. The golden eggs were put in and would not lose their lives and obliterate the vitality. Instead, they would play a role in incubation. After Function Winglong King felt the golden egg's breath completely disappeared, his eyes changed a bit and became a bit stern, but Jin Peng came forward and made a few noises, so he calmed down. Afterwards, without hesitation, Yi Tianxing once again stood on Jin Peng's back, appeared in the void, and was followed by the same huge and amazing Function Wing Dragon King, between the wings, and the wind turned into two gods. Go away, disappeared from this mountain. In Xuanwang town, the time it took for Jin Peng to appear, pick up Yi Tianxing, and return to Jin Peng again. Yi Tianxing returned to the town, but it took less than an hour. It is completely over. Among them, no one knows where Yi Tianxing went and what he did. This whereabouts has become a mystery. Many people in the town who were secretly following Yi Tian's action and quietly kept guessing, but couldn't catch the main points. According to Jin Peng, it will take several months for those eggs to hatch. Once hatched, there are hundreds of powerful birds. This air cavalry must not let others know that at a critical moment, it will become a whole card in my hand, and it may turn things around and turn the war. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and looked far away, his face still. The longer he took charge of Xuanwang town, the city government in his heart began to deepen. It is already possible to keep his mind on the face. www.novelhall.com. It is difficult to spy on his emotions easily. The decision has begun. Next, we will start to select personnel, choose from the soldiers, choose the most loyal and most elite soldiers, receive training, go to the area where Jinpeng is located, and prepare to contract those hatched Jinpeng descendants. Any fierce beast, fierce bird, is the easiest to recognize the Lord when he is just born. It is easiest to accept the moments of strangers, and to cultivate mutual understanding from an early age, in order to create the best air cavalry. This army will not be revealed unless it is absolutely necessary. In the town, the bazaar, someone saw Yi Tianxing's figure leaving. There was a strange color in my eyes, and I murmured secretly in my heart, I am told by the village chief that I always pay attention to the whereabouts of Yi Jian, and let me find the opportunity to light this incense. I do not know what I want to do. It will not be Yi Jian, it's not good for you. If you murdered Mayor Yi, wouldn't it be a sinner in Xuanwang town? This tribal paradise would disappear. But if I do what will my family do? I hope this is just my guess. Quote. There was a hint of hesitation on his face. Chapter 372, Fate. The mind is complicated. People have passions and desires, which often makes people's hearts appear extremely impetuous. Perhaps most people have stable reasons, but talented people are born with a kind of unconvinced and not weaker than others. Especially in troubled times, it is the fertile soil that can most breed ambition. Seeing the rise of Xuanwang town, such as the scorching oil cooking, flourishing. Some people have begun to sit still. Head-to-head confrontation, there is no one who dare to confront Xuanwangjian with the prestige of Xuanwangjian. It is a name that was killed by blood and strength directly with aliens and monsters. It can be said that this is already a sign of the general trend. With the strength of the village, Xuanwang town cannot be shaken. The private ownership of Xuanwang town, and the eternal currency has been thoroughly promoted. The currency circulation is within 10,000 miles. In fact, this luck and fame are like rivers and streams. 100 rivers are unified and merged into Xuanwang town. At any time, Xuanwang town's reputation is constantly rising and expanding its influence. If time passes, and the subtle influences, the surrounding villages, even if they are not surrendering, will be no different from being dependent on surrendering. At that time, even if the senior members of the village do not agree, other villagers will force them to make a decision. This is intolerable for some ambitious people. Even if you know Xuanwang town's status and strength in today's 10,000 miles, you can't move the front, it is inevitable that some worries. Such as ambitious people, not in the minority, it just hides in the dark, and it doesn't easily show up. No one is a fool. There are more than one pair of eyes in the dark. Yi Tianxing returned to the mansion and immediately entered the quiet room. Sitting on the futon, when my heart moves, my mind is immersed in the body. Into the Shanghai. In Shanghai, a tenth part of Shanghai, which is about 9 feet in size, is already covered with a layer of chaotic liquid. Even in it, you can see the colorful light flashing and changing. Several amulets rose up and down in the true yuan. They were spears and true arrows, and they were naturally raised by the true yuan. Take power and temper yourself. At all times, there is genuine scrubbing the flesh and warming the flesh. A large amount of heaven and earth vitality is constantly flowing back and forth along the river channels around the body, converging in Shanghai, swallowed and refined by the Shengquan into a true element. Zulong is vomiting his vitality all the time. What is absorbed is the vitality of the heavens and the earth, and what is spit out is the true elements of chaotic colors. The Four Seas Dragon map has been perfectly integrated with Chaos Dragon Pool. Even if you don't need to urge, you can practice by yourself. The sea of chaos in God's seas, the air of chaos tumbles, like the inner and outer seas. As soon as my heart moves, the sea of God shines, and the sun shines. There is light in the flesh and blood of the whole body, emitting endless divine light. A bite of black ding has turned into substance, wantonly changing in the flesh and blood, always in the changing position, a golden ancient seal in the ding, floating in the blood. There was also an illusory bai ding emerged. In Ding Zhong, it seemed that he could see a taunting ox deer roaring and vomiting around. The root of life and knowledge lies in the development of life and knowledge. Among them, the method of life and development is the most critical for this realm. Life and knowledge cannot be developed at will and must be cultivated to achieve it. You also need to know how to measure your life and knowledge, to find out if you have a hidden life and knowledge, or even a way to open your life and knowledge, which is the key. Quote. Moreover, life and consciousness are also divided into 3 levels. Each level represents a layer of cultivation. Life and consciousness are divided into Jiaoshu, stars, and mirror moon. Condensed projection, Shanhai and Mingqiao have a direct connection. With the help of Mingqiao projection, you can directly absorb the vitality of the heavens and the earth with Mingqiao, infuse Shanhai, and increase your cultivation speed again. For the accumulation of cultivation mana, become stronger and stronger fast. A message emerged from Yi Tianxing's mind. When the royal dragon scriptures reached the peak of the Shanhai state, the message originally sealed in the mind naturally began to unseal a part of it, which belongs to the practice method of life and knowledge. Fate is actually not a problem of Gongfa. Gongfa lies in the realm of Shanhai, and its foundation has been thoroughly determined. Shanhai is the foundation of casting, and it cannot be changed easily. Unless it is the same origin, otherwise, it will be converted like rework. This process is extremely dangerous. Daoji Foundry is still step by step, accumulating its own true mana. The Shanhai realm is fundamental, and the fate is the art of attack. After casting the foundation of Tao, there is already the foundation of eternal life. The fate of life is to cultivate the technique of protecting the eternal life. If you don't have the power to guard the eternal life, then naturally, death will completely turn into nothingness. The art of protecting the road is equally important. The stronger your strength, the more natural you will be. Ancestors of the dragon's life, this is the biggest creation in the dragon's heavenly scriptures. The most precious thing. Only with this, ancestors of the dragon's life, can open up the unique life and tactics in the imperial dragons. No matter how many life knowings in the body, the life knowings in it are the most fundamental, and how much you open up will have the opportunity to condense a unique life knack map. It is the most rare in the same vein. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath. Forcibly press down the excitement in your heart. According to the information in my mind, there are not many destinies in Zulong Mingqiao picture. There are only a few destinies, but they are the basic destiny, which is the core destiny. Supreme tactics. They are Dragon Nest Mingqiao, Dragon Heart Mingqiao, Dragon Scale Mingqiao, Dragon Bone Mingqiao, Longjin Mingqiao. These are the 5 fundamental destiny and core destiny. Once the 5 major tactics are condensed, and based on them, the tactics can be condensed to break through the psychic map. However, condensing these 5 core destinies is simply too difficult. Once successful, it is enough to have the supreme power of changing the world. The true incarnation of the true dragon is invincible. It is invincible in the heavens and the earth and reproduces the power of the ancestor. When I saw Zulong's life and knowledge map, although Yi Tianxing had longed for it, he had to say that the difficulty was really too great. Take Dragon's Nest. To open up, the natural treasures needed can keep countless people away. Dragon's Nest fate. Open up the necessary treasures, chaos, purple river wagon, dragon vein stone. Not to mention, the chaos gas is easy to find, but it can be obtained in Hongmeng Tiandi Tower. Although I don't know if it is worse or better than the real chaos gas, at least they are all chaos gas. On the Purple River car, this is a world treasure, it happens to be in his hands, the legend is the placenta that gave birth to life. Take out one before, giving birth to physical powers. Purple River cars have a priori. The strange treasures born from this world. Nature is the best quality. In the hands of Yi Tianxing, although there are not many. Totally sufficient. These 2 are not a problem, but the dragon vein stone makes Yi Tianxing somewhat embarrassed. Dragon veins are not ordinary stones, but they are bred from underground dragon veins. They have the magic of dragon veins. Dragon veins are treasures. Legend has it that even ordinary people can wear dragon veins without invasion. An empty mind can easily enter epiphany. Cultivation is faster, and the benefits are difficult to describe. To find dragon vein stones, we must first find a dragon vein. Perhaps, we can look for different treasure dragon vein stones that have been bred from heaven and earth. Such dragon vein stones have the highest grade. The power contained is also the greatest. I don't know if there is a chance to find them. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath. Groaned secretly. It is very difficult for anyone to open up life tactics. It is not anything else, because the natural treasures needed for development are so rare that they need to be obtained. Can only look at the chance. This is also a very difficult extravagance for many monks to open up life consciousness and break into life consciousness. Those who can awaken life consciousness the day after tomorrow in the Shanhai realm are born geniuses. It virtually breaks a natural dilemma between Shanhai and Mingqiao. However, according to the Yulong Tian Jing records, when breaking through the realm, a core destiny can be awakened in the body. This is a creation brought about by the accumulation of the essence of the exercises. I don't know if it will be one of the 5 core destinies. Which one is the hope of Dragon's Nest? Dragon's Nest is the top 5. A secret expectation came into my heart. Naturally, there is no such powerful creation in other exercises. This is a creation that can only be obtained if you practice the levels of the heavenly classics. This is the power of the origin of its own exercises, and with the opportunity at the time of breakthrough, it directly bred and opened up the fate. It is equivalent to the awakening of the day after tomorrow. But this is only one time. In the future, I want to open up my life. www.novelhall.com, I can only rely on myself. At the beginning, to break through the life and consciousness, the first is to open up the life and consciousness. I already have it. Naturally, there is no need to proceed. The next step is to project the power of the life and consciousness into the void of Shanhai. You need to break through the imagination with the power of the origin in this process. If the source of the destiny is insufficient and not strong enough, there is no way to maintain the projection. Among my destiny, the congenital yin and yang I source is the strongest and most powerful. The magical powers bred in it promoted to the Zan class. There should be no problem in reflecting the void. Quote. There must be no hesitation. All the distractions disappeared at this moment. Dispersed without a trace. Photographing the void. With a heart movement, I did not hesitate to mobilize the power of the innate yin and yang eyes, and a force of the source immediately followed the mind, directly breaking the infinite limit in the meditation, and suddenly broke through the barriers of the Sea of God, and appeared in the Shanhai. In the sky above the Sea of God and in the void, you can see that the air of chaos tumbles, and a strong pressure is sweeping in, and it is necessary to crush this source of power. Make it crash directly. Chapter 373, Dragon Nest Life Wheel. For subscription recommendation, come with a monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. This is the pressure from instinct in Shanhai. There is no intention, but if it cannot be supported, it will naturally collapse, and the process of reflecting the void will fail. In this, nature is the cause of the strength of the source. The strong source, the life consciousness itself will continue to emerge. Support and maintain projection. Completely stable. Once completed, it is tantamount to opening up a connection between one's own destiny and Shanhai. Directly frame a passage. Can penetrate the vitality of heaven and earth, the true mana. In this process, it is easy to say that it is not dangerous, and it is not easy to say. If it fails, there will be no danger to life, but it will completely consume the origin of the investment. The power of these origins is actually building a channel. Before the channel is built, completely opened, or even stabilized, the source cannot support it, and naturally, it will lose contact with life and consciousness and be completely worn away. This is a complete loss. It takes time to rebuild. And if the channel is completely opened, the power of the source is connected. Naturally, there will be no such loss of the source, but it will have huge benefits. The pressure from Shanhai is not small. But the yin and yang fate is a congenital fate, which contains the innate origin. The origin is even more powerful, has completed transformation, is almost as solid as a rock, cannot be shaken, appears in the void of the Shanhai, and is as stable as Mount Tai. Put all the stresses on you. Brush. In just a few moments, the origin of yin and yang was completely solidified, stabilized in the void of Shanhai, and directly created a mysterious connection with the yin and yang life consciousness itself. At this moment, it seems that at this moment, an invisible channel is completely opened. A stream of yin and yang air followed the passage and appeared in the void of Shanhai. The origin of yin and yang reflects the void and turns into a black and white star, and with the influx of yin and yang air, the stars bloomed, and in a split second they were divided into two, one black and one white, and two small stars orbiting the void. This is the manifestation of the origin of yin and yang. But this star is illusory. The blooming star is also extremely dim. But the starlight splattered from the elusive stars toward Shanghai. The whole of Shanghai is like the tide of the sun, a trace of yin and yang is silent, and it begins to penetrate into the Shanghai and merge into the true element. It does not change the attribute of the true element, but it makes the true element naturally. Suspected changes appear to be closer to yin-yang Dao Yun. The true element is the root, the life knowing is the magical power, the law, and the rhyme. The origin of life and consciousness is the projection of the void, and the starlight emitted is Dao Yun, which is the law, which is integrated into the true yuan, so that the true yuan contains the law and Dao rhyme. This is the transformation of Zhen Yuan towards mana. Driving the supernatural power, can make supernatural powers like waving arms, the power is greatly increased. Moreover, in the true yuan, the Taoism is deep, warming the flesh, can increase the life, and the secret of longevity is in it. Quote, unreal stars are condensed. This is already the first stage of fate and reality to break through the fate and reality. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and immediately felt that the connection between himself and heaven and earth became clearer and stronger. It seemed to open up the acupuncture point and make contact with the yin and yang qi. Connected with the Tao. For the entire body, take off a layer of imprisonment completely. It seems that when my mind is moving, I can rise up into the air following this layer of mysterious induction. Ding! At this moment, I only saw that in the knowledge of the sea, there was no sign, and a grey magpie appeared, as if it had emerged from nothing and was derived from the void. It can be seen above, and cracks are clearly visible on the plate. This crack looks terrible and mysterious, just like the trajectory of life, every trace seems to be able to see the traces of years. The above cracks, no more and no less, 24 cracks are startling. It looks as striking as the broken ceramics. Every way is indelible. With the size of this method, only a few hundred cracks will appear, and it will be completely broken. Completely crashed and unstoppable. At this time, a wonderful change occurred. On the gray method, the original gray began to dissipate. In the deep, a mysterious force was continuously poured into the pan. At a speed that can be seen by the naked eye, FAE has turned from gray, 1 inch to white as jade, exuding yin-yang yuguang. The jade grew bigger and turned white as jade. Its size is twice as large as before. But the original fissures still haven't disappeared. They are always there. 24, 1 is not many, and 1 is many. However, the occupied space is much less natural than before, and it seems a little humble. After the jade wing has completed its transformation, it naturally hides in the sea of knowledge and disappears. But Yi Tianxing has a feeling that if he wants to, he can see the existence of the jade. This is the life wheel. Yi Tianxing felt a shock in his heart, and felt that the soul was in turmoil. He secretly whispered, in the legend, every life has a life wheel in its body. The existence of this life wheel represents its own life and traces on the life wheel. It is your own life mark. Once the life mark is filled with the life wheel is broken. Naturally, your life is exhausted and it falls to the scene. Even if you have a mighty mana, the magical power is vast, and you cannot escape. Walk back. Quote. Furthermore, the life wheel only represents the established life. If it is killed horizontally, it is killed by killing, accident, even if the life wheel is not broken, it is still dead. Only one is horizontal death, the other is life. Secretly shocked in my heart. The gray life wheel just now, if nothing unexpected, should be able to accommodate 300 life marks, that is the life limit of the Shanghai monk, 300 years, and the life wheel's endurance limit. Those 24 life marks represent that Yi Tianxing has passed 24 spring and autumn. These are the marks of time and are indelible. Even if it is transformed into a white life wheel, the life wheel has been transformed, becoming larger and able to withstand more life marks. The original 24 life marks have always existed and will not disappear. The white life wheel, which has a lifespan of 600 years. It can carry at least 600 life traces. This is really the date of death. No wonder many monks are trying hard to cultivate. The sense of oppression is definitely a feeling of terror. It is an invisible haze. To withstand it also requires a strong will. Quote. Yi Tianxing secretly exhaled a long breath. This visible life, and the feeling of death, are more terrifying than the unknown. He didn't expect to see his own life wheel just when he had broken through to his life. He guessed that this should have a great relationship with developing his own knowledge of sea life. If it were not in the sea, it would not be detectable. Even if you can feel it, you can't see it clearly. 300 years of life in Shanghai realm and 600 years of life in Juqiao realm. This is an established number of lives. According to legend, in addition to these established longevity, various strange treasures can be used to increase longevity. Yuan, this increased Shou Yuan, in fact, is to expand the size of the life wheel, so that the life wheel becomes larger and can withstand more life marks. For example, some congenital spiritual roots, top life plants, increase Shou Yuan, or more to a lesser extent. It's a way to live longer. However, the most fundamental thing is to break through the realm and become stronger. Quote, relying on foreign objects is always not the right way. Although Shuju is good, but not strong enough, he will die sooner or later. After seeing that the life wheel had disappeared, he did not continue to put his mind on it. Continue to focus on the body. Expensive. Not only did the life wheel undergo metamorphosis, but only saw the waves suddenly formed in Shanghai, and the ancestral dragon lingering in the chaos dragon pool suddenly issued a dragon chant. The dragon groaned rather broadly, with endless majesty. An air of chaos-colored ancestors spewed out into an elusive dragon ball. Rush out of Shanghai. Is this the only great fortune brought about by the Royal Dragon Classic? Don't dare relax, just follow. I only saw that the illusory dragon ball suddenly appeared in the body, constantly shuttled in the flesh and blood, changing. Appears in the flesh for a time, appears in the bones for a time, enters the internal organs of the internal organs, and shuttles in the meridian channels. Unpredictable. It seemed like an instant, and it seemed like 10 million years have passed. The illusory dragon ball finally swept directly towards his chest. Came to the place where Tanjiang acupoint is called in the secular world, exploded, countless chaotic air rolled. Zulong Shengguang swept out. There is a life in the chest opening up fiercely. That speed is amazing, and the process of evolution is even more unimaginable. All I could see was the chaos of air rolling, pain in the chest, and the light of chaos burst out from the chest. A large amount of heaven and earth vitality poured into it like tide, and the surrounding flesh and blood stimulated were glowing. This is to open up the core destiny, not in the bones, the internal organs, or the meridian membrane. Is this really the development of the dragon's nest? Yi Tianxing faintly felt something, and secretly gave birth to expectations. If it really opens up the dragon's nest, it can really save countless hard work and reduce countless years. Don't make it hard. It is simply a great fortune. This is the reason for atmospheric transport. The luck of the heavenly dependents must be extraordinary. Atmosphere Transporter, www.novelhall.com, dreams come true, dreams come true. You can step on the magic weapon even if you walk. You can find elixir when you walk. This should be the loyalty of Qi Yun, and it opens up the most wanted and most difficult life tactic. Chaos ***** light flows, devouring heaven and earth vitality. Unconsciously, the irritating air of the chest gradually calmed down. With a moment of thought, the mind has entered into it. I can only see that the location of Tanjiang Point has been replaced by a fate. This fate can see that the air of chaos tumbles, and a circular nest like a honeycomb emerges, just an illusion. There is an endless stream of chaos in it. If there are holes, tunnels, it can hold thousands of true dragons, and Long Wei is prominent. Chaos light shone inside. Gives a profound feeling. It's really dragon's nest. Yi Tianxing was shocked in his heart and muttered to himself. Chapter 374, Volley. The most hopeful development is Longqiao Mingqiao, which must be created now. This is a great blessing. Dragon's nest is the place where the true dragon is bred, and it has its own space. If there is a dimension, it will grow stronger and stronger, and the dragon's nest will grow larger. Attribute life map. It is the most fundamental foundation among the 5 core life tactics. Without this foundation, it is absolutely impossible to condense the unique life map of the Royal Dragon Classic. Quote, the mind leaned into the dragon's nest. It was found that there were holes in the dragon's nest, which looked similar to the worm's nest, and contained endless dimensions. Of course, it is a bit too exaggerated to say this now, but it is the path of the dragon's nest transformation. It can be said that this is the law of space. Even if you like, you can use the dragon nest as a space bag to store various items. Even living things can be stored. Inside, there was a deep dragon spirit floating up and down, faintly echoing heaven and earth. In addition, there are 4 core destinies, each of which requires top-notch heaven and earth. This is another time-consuming practice. Yi Tianxing was not pleased to have opened up Dragon's Nest because of the great fortune. Long Chao Ming Chao, at this moment, there is no way to show any great power. Not even the attack power was revealed. It's just that the secrets are deep and hidden. The other 4 core destinies should also be found on the agenda. Such as Dragon Scale Fate. When you open up, you need to gather true dragon scales, not dead skin. These 2 are no longer ordinary and rare. It's the real dragon scale. Immortal skin is also said to be the bark of some kind of precious tree. Either one is extremely difficult to obtain. Another example is the keel fate. When you open up, you need a real keel and you don't destroy it. Another example is Longshan Ming Chao, which requires dragon's blood crystal, Chi Chao exquisite lotus, and different fires. Either way, it is a rare treasure that is hard to find in the world. Any item, wherever it is placed, is the goal that people desperately fight for. Allows blood to stain the river, floating corpses. There are only a few of these things in Yi Tianxing's hands. It is not enough to open up any new life. Reflect the void. Take a deep breath and calm the waves again. Restarted projecting the vitality of the body into the Shanhai void. This process of reflecting the void is the most difficult at the beginning, but after the first source of life knowledge is stable, then the projection of the second source of life knowledge again will reduce part of the pressure. The second source appeared in the void of Shanhai. What appeared this time was the origin of Shiding Mingju. The origin of Shiding Ming Chao has also grown tremendously these days. The initial illusory has transformed to a substantial level. The origin of Shiding Ming Chao comes from eating, and the more food you eat, the larger the number of foods tasted, the stronger the source of the food tripod will be. Every ingredient and food will leave marks on the food tripod. For a long time, Yi Tianxing has not eaten a small number of foods. As long as they are eating every day, the source will increase, even if it is small, it is still increasing, accumulating heritage. The source is long strong, which is all eaten. Now the original projection comes out. As soon as it appears in the void of Shanhai, it suddenly turns into an elusive star. The pressure around it is directly repelled. In this little star, it seems to convey a strange way to eat everything. Hanging in the void, it also emits a ray of shining stars, shining on the Sea of God. Falling in the Shanhai, naturally, intertwined with the true elements in the Shanhai, subtly fused, giving birth to the Daoyuan. Another invisible channel appeared between Shanhai and Mingchao, and Mingchao connected the heaven and earth, which was almost a connection with heaven and earth. The induction between myself and heaven and earth is clearer. The feeling of being as light as a bird and fluttering as a fairy is clearer. Seems to be returning by wind, traveling is too empty. Xuanjia Mingchao, Dantian Mingchao, knowing the sea Mingchao, began to launch the source in turn, condensing the star projection in the void of Shanhai, opening the invisible channel. Each time the source of life and consciousness is projected in the Shanhai void, the feeling of being close to the heavens and the earth is stronger. In the end, Dragon's Nest Mingchao also launched its origins and appeared in the Shanhai void. The origin and development of this fortune created by its own inner essence can be said to be extremely powerful, and it is not inferior to other life and knowledge in the body. In the blink of an eye, in the void of Shanhai, 7 elusive stars have condensed, 2 of which are black and white stars transformed by Yin-Yang Mingchao. Hanging in the void, a trace of Daoyuan naturally filled the Shanhai. They are different from each other, and may even be completely opposite. They are different from each other, but because the masters of these fate are Yi Tianxing, they all merge together without any hidden dangers, converging in the true elements of Shanhai and blending with each other. Brush. In the quiet room, Yi Tianxing suddenly opened his eyes. At the moment of opening, he stood up, and then, he saw that his body, as if without weight, floated directly into the air without using any magical powers. He just thought about it and suspended in the air. As if at this moment, the entire body is completely out of the shackles of gravity. Like flying birds, they can soar freely in the air. Squeak. The door opened automatically, and with a moment of thought, the body floated towards the doorway and came to the backyard. As soon as the body moved, it naturally rose continuously into the air. Stand in the void. I can feel the breeze blowing on my face. It's cool at night, but it's shining like daylight because of the light. Everything is clearly visible. Yi Tianxing's figure floated directly, standing in the void, flying higher and lower. Someone looked back, could not help but open his mouth, and exclaimed in surprise. Look, Mayor Yi is in the sky. What's the matter? How can it be called heaven? This is obviously standing in the void and riding the wind. This is some kind of magical power, or a spell. It can make people fly directly into the sky. No, this is not a magical power, nor is it a spell. I can't feel the breath of Daoyun magic at all. It seems like a bird. If you want, you can travel in the void and walk in the void. All eyes focused on midair, looking at Yi Tianxing, a strange color appeared in his eyes. Being able to walk in the air is not a very difficult thing among monks, such as magical runes, royal wind runes, etc., all have the ability to make monks empty. The speed is greatly increased, and the shuttle is like electricity. But once it is displayed, all kinds of visions and rhymes can be seen. But now on Yi Tianxing, he couldn't see any vision of Daoyun. There is a natural breath. The body is as light as a swallow, walking in emptiness, but you can travel freely by virtue of your body. This is life and death. Huang Chungyun looked up at the void, and his pupils were frozen, and then a little joy appeared on his face. The outline of life and consciousness has been recorded in the books of Gongfa. The biggest feature is that they can be as light as swallows, and they can rise directly into the air by virtue of their physical bodies without false objects. If equally leisure. The records there are almost exactly the same as those displayed by Yi Tianxing now. It's amazing that you can live without a fake object in the air, and the protagonist promotes it, and my strength in Xuanwang Town will also enter another level. It seems that I also need to speed up the cultivation speed. Shanghai realm is not the end, but the starting point. Today, I have stepped into the 7th and 8th of Shanghai, and in the process, the accumulation of previous lives has been exhausted. The next step is to rely on itself. Quote. Lu Shi lifted his eyes to the void, and a strange color flashed in his eyes. Walking in the void, is this the fate of life? Unexpectedly, the protagonist has entered another realm. Jia Yu nodded first, the gentleness between the eyebrows was more intense. His eyes became firmer. This is a good thing. In a troubled world, everything is empty, and only strength is real strength. In particular, Yi Tianxing's prestige in Xuanwang Town is now the first to break through, which can add a touch of legend to his body. Can make his prestige even more unshakable. Ingrained. This is even more important in troubled times. A large number of people rejoiced in their hearts, and Yi Tianxing became stronger, which means that they will become more secure in the town. Have the strength to face greater danger. Great, Brother Yi finally broke through. Kai Yan witnessed a sincere joy on his face. The valley is empty, this is the destiny, is this the power of the monk? It is amazing that humans can fly directly without relying on external forces like birds. Mu Guiying looked at the void with longing. He didn't stay in the void for too long, and after a while, he fell back to the ground. Yi Tianxing had a thought on his face, and Yu Yu reading secretly whispered, life and life and life and life and life correspond to heaven and earth, and Daoyun is hidden in one body. It can be said that it should be connected with Dao, mind when you move, you can rise into the air and walk in the air. However, the speed of crossing the void with your body is extremely slow. It is so slow that it is like walking at random. The distance from the legendary North Sea tour is twilight. It's tens of thousands of miles apart. If you want to fly at an astonishing speed, you need to cultivate a special imperial air magic, control Shengguang, auspicious clouds and the like. Otherwise, the speed is too slow. Fate, just let yourself have a cloud and fog only the foundation. Quote. Relying on yourself to fly in the air, this speed, you can't get up fast. Of course, this has something to do with strength, but the speed is too slow, and in some situations, it will not work at all. But if you practice Dunguang, flying magic, spells, etc., it will be different, and the speed will soar instantly. It seems that you need to find a flying spell to practice. I remember that in the Tibetan scripture hall, there should be several flying types of life knowledge development methods. Even if life knowledge cannot be developed, runes and runes condensed in the Sea of God. It can be done, it's just that the power is not as good as the really opened up life and magic. Quote. Yi Tianxing could not help but have a thought. Chapter 375, Knowledge. As time passed, another month passed. In this month, it can be said that the earth-shaking changes happened again in Xuanwang Town. The implementation of private ownership suddenly activated the atmosphere in the town and stirred it up. The transformation from standing water to living water is not only a system promoted in the town, but also a transformation that the people in the town originally expected. With the cooperation of everyone, the transition was smooth. Many people have found their own means of livelihood. Even if you don't have the skills, go to the spar mine to mine, help build houses, carry stones, wood, even go fishing, hunt ferocious beasts in the jungle, and even pick herbs. As long as you are willing, it is almost impossible to be starved to death and hungry. There are hundreds of wastes waiting in the town, with too many jobs. As long as you are willing, have dreams, and work hard. Then there is a chance of realization. No previous effort was needed. Now, apart from cultivation, I still need to work for the food I need for cultivation. That kind of expectation for the future has brought about drastic changes in the whole spirit. There was a strong fighting spirit that was hard to see before. In just 1 month, the changes have not been able to match the previous months. It really shows a scene of prosperity. The original Fang City has completely become one of the busiest streets in Xuanwang Town. It's a bustling street. I didn't expect to see such a lively scene in this troubled world. It was simply incredible. In front of the street, watching the flow of people, Mu Guiying's face with British spirit, he couldn't help but be surprised. Well, you have been retreating in these days. Sister Mu, you haven't noticed the changes in the town. This time happens to be free. Brother Yi has no other major issues to deal with. Just watch and play together. I heard that the town a lot of new stores have opened. There are a lot of novelty items. And there is a shop that specializes in ready-to-wear. It is said that many of the clothes inside are very new and beautiful. It is all over the town. Quote. Kai Yan said with a smile. Let's go. This month, the private ownership replaces the public ownership. Now it is to see how the effect of this transition will be. Yi Tianxing said calmly. For a month, it is not long or short. The transition period of 1 month can be said to be quite stable. There is no major mess, but there is a sense of success. In fact, this is no wonder. After all, when the country came to the Eternal Continent, although the country broke up, it cannot be denied that almost all people, human beings, have lived a lifetime from a civilized society. Even in ancient times, it was a feudal system, and that was civilization. It is also a private system. The law also protects the private power of personal property. It is not itself from the primitive age. These things have been recognized from the beginning. This transition is logical. There is no question of acceptance or unacceptability. Instead, it is like a fish. People with brains find opportunities one after another and start to plan their own future. 1 month is a perfect transition. During this time, Yi Tianxing did not deliberately make the transition process, or even its changes. I'm just constantly practicing and watching, waiting silently for the beginning of transformation. This is also the first time to come to this bazaar, this street in person. Get ready to experience the change in town for yourself. Originally, it was only intended to take Kai Yi to take a good stroll, but when Kai Yi heard it, he pulled Mu Guiying together. In this regard, Yi Tianxing naturally has no opinion. 1 man and 2 women, the 3 walked together and entered the street. With the looks and temperament of the 2 women, that turn around, the attention that attracted is naturally conceivable. However, most of them recognized Yi Tianxing's identity. Although they had respect on their faces, they didn't bother with tacit understanding. They even slightly opened up some roads and spaces so that they could pass through smoothly. Obviously, I don't want to disturb their leisure shopping time. After becoming a monk, the people in the town naturally have a kind of demeanor that was not common among ordinary people. Sister Mu, look, this store seems to be a jewelry store. Luoji Jewelry Store. It's better that we go in and see. Walking on the street, Kai Yan suddenly pointed at a shop and said. This shop is not easy to see at first sight. The number of people entering and leaving the door is very large, and especially the number of women is the largest. People who came in had expectations on their faces. When they left, they had joy and resentment on their faces. Let's go and see together. Yi Tianxing saw and nodded. The 3 went in together. The store is not very big, but it is not small. It is now night, and the lighting lamp has been turned on. To the sight, there is no slight influence, and everything is clearly visible. In this shop, you can see that there are shelves one by one. On the shelves, there are beautifully carved wooden boxes. These wooden boxes are packed with exquisite ornaments. Yi Tianxing looked at the past, and nodded secretly. Among these ornaments, bead strings carved from the heart of the ancient tree in the forest can be worn on the wrist. Each bead is engraved with various patterns with superb skills. For example, there are zodiac signs, bracelets formed by joining wooden beads together. The engraving of the zodiac sign is lifelike and vivid, and it seems that it was alive inadvertently. Emit a kind of spirituality. It is very exquisite and exquisite. It will make you feel a bit of love in your hands. There are also beautifully carved crested crests, silver crests made of silver. Bracelets, etc., can be seen. The owner of this shop, his skills in making jewelry, have been quite superb, sophisticated. Even if the previous skills cannot be reached, after becoming a monk, one's strength, even the fine-grained control of the body, can allow his own skills to advance by leaps and bounds. Further, that is a breeze. So beautiful crested cormorant, Sister Zhao Ji, if you bring it, you should be more beautiful. Mu Guiying pointed at a crested cormorant and said, "Come, I'll try it on for you." Yi Tianxing came forward with a smile, picked up the crested owl, and said to Kai Yan. There was a hint of shame on Kai Yan's face, no objection, and bowed his head to let Yi Tianxing help to stay on his head. The crested crest, silver glitter, set off more grace and nobility. More 3-point colors. It's beautiful and matches you. Yi Tianxing looked carefully and nodded. This craft is really good, lifelike, just right to set off the beauty. Yes, sister, you are so beautiful. Mu Guiying also exclaimed, amazed. Sister Mu, you pick one too, and my sister gives it to you. When Kai Yan heard it, she felt joy, and touched her hair on her head. Although it is not a magic weapon, in her mind, it is more precious than a magic weapon. I look at the bracelet very well, the zodiac signs are wonderful. I want this. Mu Guiying's character does not have a woman's contortion. I took the string in my hand, wore it on my wrist, and waved it, looking like it. Boss, how much are these 2 accessories? Yi Tianxing glanced at the other accessories in the store, a lot. However, the levels are similar, all carved by the same person. Items are ordinary items, and the materials may not be bad, but the value is not the materials but the craftsmanship. A middle-aged man immediately stepped forward and said with a smile on his face, "The mayor is polite and can come to my shop. That is the honor of the shop. Since Ms. Kai and Ms. Mu like these 2 things, they should be presented as gifts. Where can I collect your money from the mayor? If it was not the mayor's blessing, I would not have known how long I had died." In words, it was not intended to collect money at all. Besides, he is not a fool. This thing was made by him. In his mind, it is not valuable, and it is not a magic weapon. Send it out, that is, take some time to remake it. But if it is passed out, Kai Yan and Mu Guiying carry the accessories were sent from the Luoji jewelry store, and the reputation could be hit all at once. How could the benefits be comparable to 1 or 2 accessories? When you do business, buy or sell goods, you have to give money. It's business. When you enter the store, our identity is the customer, the guest. There is no other identity. How much is it? How much is it? I am the town long, it is more necessary to lead by example. Quote. Yi Tianxing shook his head and said with a smile. Money is good, but humanity is not good. Although it is not human, it is not a precedent. Led by example, as long as it is spread out, no one dares to bully and break the rules in the town. This is the inefficiency. Sometimes, when you are in a high position, you need to pay attention to your own code of conduct. Some things cannot be crossed or not. Good for everyone. That's all right. The crested asterisk is 5 pennies. www.novelhall.com. The 12 Chinese zodiac beads, 3 pennies. It adds up to 8 pennies. The boss heard and hesitated slightly before he said, "Isn't currency eternal? When is it calculated in terms of text?" Yi Tianxing heard, and there was a touch of strange color in his eyes. He said slowly, "The mayor may not know." The treasurer Luo said, "Eternal coins are really precious. Each one is like a panacea. It is the first-rate food in cultivation. To measure the value, one by one. For some items that are not in the practice, it's hard to define. The value of eternal currency is too large compared to the value of the goods themselves." But then someone came up with a solution. Quote, "I found that during cultivation, the energy contained in the eternal coin is absorbed, and how much it absorbs, a part of the gold will disappear. After the energy is completely absorbed, it will turn white, disappear completely, and become nothing. Therefore, some people will an eternal coin is divided into 10 according to the size of the golden part above. If an eternal coin has white 1/10 and 9/10 is golden, it is a few pennies. If there are 10 9% are white, that's a penny." Quote. Chapter 376, Candied Fruit. Then, the Luo treasurer quickly took out a few eternal coins. It can be seen that many of these eternal coins are not perfect eternal coins, but some are golden and some are white. It is divided into 10 equal parts, and the conclusion is made by the size of the area occupied by gold. The size of the golden part represents how much value it contains. This is indeed possible. When absorbing energy in the eternal coin, the golden part really disappeared in a gradual decrease. Although now in Xuanwang town, everyone is already a monk, everyone is a monk, but the development time is too short, and they have just entered private ownership. Art, one of the few. The existence of ordinary items cannot be eliminated. This is also a process from the secular transition to the monk's kingdom. Some ordinary goods, even if they are precious, have some added value, and there is definitely no way to compare them with a complete eternal coin. If the goods in value are not equal, naturally, there will be a restriction on transaction circulation. Unequal transactions will not last long. Even if the transaction is completed and there is anger in the heart, subsequent transactions, sales and purchases will be impossible. Let the two sides of the transaction have a confrontation and resistance. Such as these accessories. It is indeed exquisite. This craft can give these jewelry a higher value than the raw materials. However, this is not an extremely valuable material. Second, it is not a magic weapon in practice and has special abilities. Still a worldly skill. If the value is as high as one or even several eternal coins, then no matter how beautiful this thing is, no one will buy it. After all, no one will be a fool. Eternal coins can increase cultivation and speed up the cultivation speed. How precious is it to exchange for such worldly jewelry? Of course, if someone likes the item, it will naturally be as expensive as it gets. Obviously, such things are rare. And eternal currency is now the currency, so some people came up with this method. First take the eternal coin to cultivate, absorb the power inside, and divide it into 10 parts. In this way, there is a way to measure the value of an eternal coin. This is also a product of the transition from secular to spiritual practice. With less and less secular goods, this strange product will also disappear. But it is a way. Sure enough, human wisdom is truly unexpected and limitless. Only when encountering things can we think of ways. Making changes is the result of human wisdom, and this change is also natural and related to our own vital interests. Stimulate the real power. Stimulate your own creativity, humanity, inheritance through creation, wisdom, and immortality. How can we obliterate this nature? Quote, Yi Tianxing groans secretly in his heart. A glimpse of the leopard in the tube shows its ambiguity. The poor is the same, and the general is the same. This is the truth. It is not wrong for the people in the town to make such a change to eternal currency, but to treat it with an encouraging attitude. No matter what, they use eternal currency. This is not wrong. For the passage and circulation of eternal coins, it will instead play a role of promotion. This is an eternal coin. Don't look for it. Yi Tianxing nodded and nodded. A golden eternal coin appeared in his hand, and threw it directly to the shopkeeper, saying calmly, "Thank you, Mr. Yi." When the shopkeeper saw it, he couldn't help exulting, showing a touch of joy. Let's go and look elsewhere. The three walked out of the shop together. Candies, sweet and sweet candies, a bunch of pennies. On the street, there was a crisp croak. All I saw was that an old man was holding a large pole, tied with grass at one end, and sticking a red, seductive candied gourd on it. You can even feel a slight faint aura on these candies. It really makes people have an appetite and can't bear it. It's a candied fruit. Mu Guiying's eyes brightened. Looking at the bunch of candied fruit, a gleam of desire appeared in his eyes. Brother Yi, you can see that this sweet gourd is bright and tempting. These times, you haven't tasted it yet. The raw material of the sweet gourd is worse than the original one, and the mouthfeel should be better. It's better to buy a few skewers to try. And, look, Sister Mu's saliva is about to flow out. Kai Yan said, and gave a funny look at Mu Guiying. Sister. Mu Guiying heard that he was a little embarrassed. Fortunately, her personality was straightforward, and she didn't feel embarrassed because of it, but showed her thoughts unabashedly. I used to grow in a cottage. Although I was free, I didn't have many items. I remember that when I was young, my dad was the happiest when he took me to a mountain town. Every time, Dad bought me a bunch of sugar gourds. It's sweet. Quote. For her, eating a bunch of sugar gourds as a child was a very happy thing. Now when she sees selling sugar gourds, she immediately evokes memories and craves in her heart. Yi Tianxing smiled and stepped forward. He said, "Come on, 3 skewers." Okay, the mayor, you can get it. This cantaloupe, even if the old man gave it to me. If it weren't for the mayor, my life would have been long gone, and there is still a good day now. Seeing Yi Tianxing, the old man smiled and selected 3 large and red candies from above. Pass it over. Doing business, buying and selling, how can you not have money? This is a rule. Yi Tianxing shook his head with a smile, and still passed an eternal coin in the past, signaled that he would not have to change. When the old man heard it, he could only pick it up. Come, taste it, and see if it tastes good. After sharing the sweet gourd to the 2 women, Yi Tianxing also took a bunch of sweet gourds and put them in his mouth. Oh, man, this sweet gourd, it can't be worse. It is the wild hawthorn that I specially went into the jungle and found. The taste of this wild hawthorn is moderately sweet, and it seems that there has been a change here. The original world contains a hint of aura, which is not only big, but also quite delicious. In addition, the old man, my ancestral secret method, uses the honey secret of wild mountain bees. It is guaranteed that the mayor and the girl is disappointed. Quote. Between looks, the old man seemed extremely confident. He tasted the sugar gourds himself, and he knew very well that the taste were beyond the original production, more than several times. Without hesitation, bite a hawthorn and chew in your mouth. This eating, suddenly, the food cells in the body could not help but start to tremble. It is really good. It is a gourmet. Hawthorn can be perfectly matched with honey, fused together, bite, the natural fragrance and sweetness of honey infect all cells in the whole body. In hawthorn, the sweetness almost reach one. This kind of extreme, that feeling, the level is clear. Sour can make people's pores open, taste buds are big, sweet, can make people happy physically and mentally. Penetrating into the heart, alternating sweet and sour is really a rare food. Quote. A sweet gourd swallowed, and both body and mind felt happy. The food cells were shaking in excitement, and a force of heaven and earth penetrated into the flesh like a tide. The physical strength, silent, began to grow again. In the life of food tripod, the food tripod also refined the food into the purest essences incorporated into the flesh and blood, and the pattern of a hawthorn tree, even honey, and a bee emerges on the tripod. In essence, the origin of Shiding Mingju has become stronger. In the midst, Shiding can communicate some mysterious law between heaven and earth. Incorporate into it, the more you eat, the more you refine, and the food tripod will naturally condense more rules and rhymes. It's so delicious, it's better than any candied fruit I've had before. Mu Guiying's eyes narrowed, his face intoxicated. It's really delicious, old man, your craft is really amazing. Kai Yan nodded, agreeing. This cantaloupe is also the best one she has ever had. This has something to do with materials and craftsmanship. Oh, this has something to do with the materials. In fact, the secret recipes are the original ones. They are only made in the eternal continent, which is especially good. The old man said with a smile. Obviously, being praised for his craft made him most happy. After eating a bunch of sugar gourds, the unique taste continued to echo in the taste buds, adding 1,000 pounds of physical strength. In addition to these 3 or 4 months of good things, Lai He cooked food. The physical strength of the body has reached an astonishing 170,000 pounds. He felt that as long as the physical strength reached the limit of 200,000 kilograms, the practice of refining the body could naturally break through and reach the realm of Baiding Erming. Continue to wander around the market at will. All kinds of novelty are present. If Xuanwang Town in the past did not look like a real town, then Xuanwang Town, www.novelhall.com, is definitely a real town. The atmosphere here is endless. It is clear to everyone that this is indeed a human town and a gathering place. Look, there is a clothing store called Tianyij. There are many people going in and out. Mu Guiying suddenly pointed at a loft and said. This loft occupies a lot of land. In the bazaar, it can be said to be quite luxurious, and it can be compared to only a handful. Very rare. There is a plaque on it, which reads the name of Tianyij. There were many people entering and leaving the door. Moreover, both men and women showed expectations when entering and leaving, and even when they left, they were holding packages. Obviously, it contained clothes. Well, I know here. The owner of this clothing store is very interesting. The fabrics in her shop are specially purchased from me. I bought a lot of Wujin, and I heard that the craftsmanship is more outstanding. It is said to be seamless. It is exquisite. The style is also very novel. These people have a very good reputation. Quote. Kai Yan nodded and said. Chapter 377, Yun Niang. You know, just after the privatization was opened, even if many people have good craftsmanship, they can say that they have the strength and the courage to use woojin to make clothes. It is definitely one of the few. When there is a shortage, it is impossible to do much with only 10 eternal coins issued. It's like opening a store. This shop is not for them, not for not selling, but because they can't afford it, they are rented temporarily. The rent for the shop can be a lot. No matter how favorable it is, a shop of this size also needs several eternal coins for rent, which is already the least, or even levied in a symbolic sense. However, the owner of Tianyi Pavilion dared to come directly to her house and found Kai Yi to discuss the purchase of woojin. At that time, she had no money in her hands, but made an agreement with Kai Yan. First retrieve a batch of misty broth worth 100 eternal coins from her, and then 10 days later, double the price to repay. Repay the money owed. Such a bold agreement, and it is still from a woman, it is difficult to impress Kai Yi not to impress. And, the most important thing is that the female boss really doubled the debts after 10 days. This ability naturally left a very deep impression on Kai Yan. Then, the reputation of Tianyi began to spread in Xuanwang town. According to rumors, the owner of the Tianyi Pavilion, the tailor's craftsmanship is very amazing, and the clothes are made without any pinholes. In particular, there are many types of clothes in this store, and they are fashionable. Especially for women's underwear, a bra that is different from the belly band is called bra. Can better highlight women's body and breasts. More beautiful body. Almost immediately, it was loved by a large number of women in the town. Swept the town. After the fame went out, the female boss did not hesitate to recruit a large number of skilled tailors. Hiring them to make all kinds of clothes in the store, not only is the scale larger, but the number of ready-made clothes has greatly increased. All of a sudden his fame hit out. Stand firm throughout the town. Many eternal coins are credited every day. It can be said that in the whole town, it was the first wealthy people. Interesting, replacing bras with bras is an idea that most people can't think of. Yi Tianxing looked at the Tianyi Pavilion in front of him, a strange light flashed in his eyes. For the ancient women, the belly band is the tradition. Generally speaking, underwears such as bras are not expected. The ancient women had a very conservative character. It is obviously difficult for them to study this. When he heard this, he already had a hint of thought in his heart. It seems that there is a dependent in the town. How many of the dependents are there, Yi Tianxing doesn't know, but according to what I saw at the beginning, there are definitely not many where to go, and they can be encountered one after another in the vicinity, which has to be said to be a fate. The identity and origin of the family members make it impossible for Yi Tianxing to turn a blind eye, leave it alone. Not to mention, each of the dependents, the message in their minds, and even the imaginary thinking, even when there is no strong moral restraint of the ancients, it is incalculable to place it anywhere. Variable. A butterfly can stir a tornado, let alone be a lover of heaven. Such a variable, without careful investigation, clearly shows that Yi Tianxing will not easily relax. Walked into Tianyi. The space in this shop is huge. Hangers display pieces of clothing in front of customers. These clothes are not modern clothes, but vintage ancient clothes. However, these clothes are obviously improved and more personal, including robes, gowns worn by scholars, and Confucian robes that scholars like. Robe. Some monks who like to kill and hunt ferocious beasts, prefer the tight-fitting guest costumes, which can make themselves fight, without hindrance, and are very capable. There are various styles in the store. Almost come in, no matter what type you want, you can find it here. The styles prepared are quite complete. The most important thing is that the material of these clothes is woojin. Woojin uses water mist. As long as there is water, it can be produced continuously. In addition, by adding various dyes in water, you can make a variety of colors. The biggest feature of woojin is that it is gently lubricated and smooth like water. Does not seem to feel any weight. Very lightweight. It will not cause any damage to the skin. It will flutter with the wind like a wave of water flowing like a fairy, and it is 10 times better than the most precious and gorgeous cloth in the world. Fine fabrics, plus a good design. It is difficult to make the business of Tianyi bad. It's interesting. Yi Tianxing glanced around. There were not too many traces of modernity in these clothes. For the current people, there would not be too much hidden danger. Each one is exquisite in craftsmanship. The mayor and the two ladies came to my cloakroom, it really made the shop flourish. At this time, in the shop, a woman with a full body and full of body, exuding a mature charm came over. The woman looked at her appearance, probably around 27, in a decent palace dress, perfectly emphasizing her proud body. A pair of towering chests, a trace of white under the tube top, gave birth to endless charm. With mature charm. Although it is not a peerless city like Kaiyang, it is also a good-looking one. At first glance, people cannot help but be attracted to the eye. In particular, the unique temperament of a knowledgeable woman on her body, a familiar atmosphere, came naturally. Sure enough, he is a dependent. Yi Tianxing had a thought in his heart. Even the clothes worn by the women in front of them are already quite conservative for modern times. Dressed in a palace dress, but still couldn't hide the unique breath of that child. In the eyes of others, it is only maverick, but in the eyes of Yi Tianxing, it is as obvious as the torch in the dark. Words and deeds are familiar. In particular, in words and deeds, there is no fear of ordinary people about his status. I don't know the boss's surname. Yi Tianxing asked calmly. Free of charge, my surname is Zhang, with a single name. Everyone in the town calls me Yun Niang. You can also call it that way. The woman said with a smile. Zhang Yun Niang. I didn't expect you to make a lot of money. You even opened a clothing store and made bras, which swept the entire Xuanwang town and fascinated a large number of women. You can easily make a lot of money. It's amazing. Be called a strong woman. Quote. Yi Tianxing raised his eyes and glanced around slowly. Superwoman. Zhang Yun heard that her body was shocked, her eyes looking at Yi Tianxing with a different color, and she said, we are indeed fellows. I'm a fellow. I didn't expect to be able to meet a fellow so soon. It really surprised me. Yi Tianxing nodded and nodded. I didn't expect that so many fellow villagers were scattered all over the Eternal Continent, and I could meet them so quickly. The best thing is that you can build such a powerful human base in such a short time. It seems, among our fellow villagers, there will be a big man. In the future, Yunyang will rely on you to take care of her. Zhang Yun flashed a different color in her eyes, and her thoughts quickly turned in her mind, and she said without hesitation. No problem, as long as Yunyang hasn't done anything harmful, no one in Xuanwang town can move you. As for the future, this world has become like this, there is a chaotic world, and whether you can live or not is still a problem. Quote. Yi Tianxing said with a hint. With your ability, the chances of living in troubled times are much higher than mine. And you have become a powerful person, and strength is the essence of survival. At this point, you will walk in most in front of people. Quote. Zhang Yun said with a smile. Brother Yi, Yun Niang, do you know? After seeing the conversation between Yi Tianxing and Kai Yan, his face was curious, and he asked. I didn't know it before, but now I know it, all of them are from the same place. Yi Tianxing replied with a smile. No wonder I felt the strangest familiarity when I first saw Yun Niang. It turned out to be a very similar temperament in you. This should be the temperament peculiar to your fellow villagers. There was a faint expression in Kai Yan's eyes. I used to feel a little familiar, but I didn't expect it to be for this reason. Two ladies, women's clothing is on the second floor. This floor is men's clothing. We might as well go to the second floor and say that there are a lot of newly made palace dresses on it. There are several pieces that match your temperament very well. Zhang Yun said to them with a smile. Okay, let's go up together. Yun Niang's craftsmanship is amazing, and the palace costumes made are definitely exquisite. Yi Tianxing nodded in agreement. Neither Kai nor them objected. Love beautiful clothes. www.novelhall.com. This is the nature of women. After coming in, the eyes could not help but be attracted. There is no objection to such a matter. Go up to the second floor. Compared to the first floor, the second floor seemed more elegant. Pieces of exquisite and beautiful palace dresses were placed around them. The most amazing thing was that Zhang Yun had previously used a skilled carpenter to make a humanoid model and model from wood. Even the facial features are clearly visible and lifelike. The clothes were worn on them as if they were real. From the back, it's no different from living people. But such a move is really perfect for the promotion of these clothes. This model, like a living person, puts on clothes, which can make people more straightforward to see what effect this clothes will have if worn on the body. It can be seen at a glance if it doesn't match with itself. Looking at the pieces of clothing, the extremely beautiful palace dresses, Kai Yan and Mu Guiying's eyes were shining. His face was full of surprise. Chapter 378, Beast Soul Incense. For subscription monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. It's so beautiful. Yun Niang's craftsmanship is really amazing. I have never seen such a beautiful palace dress before. Wearing it on my body is not only decent, but also can show the perfect figure of a woman. Although simple, it outlines a perfect figure. It also reflects the temperament and charm of women. And, to a certain extent, it will not hinder their activities and even various actions. Quote, there was a strange affection in Mu Guiying's eyes. I have redesigned the clothes and the palace dress here. I removed the original complicated parts and tried to keep it simple and comfortable as much as possible. Even if it is a person, it can be easily dressed, decent, and taking into account the feelings of women. The palace costume is mainly conservative, and there are not many exposed places. The largest scale palace costume is just like the one worn on my body, which only exposes a small part above the chest. It does not expose the hidden area, but it can better show the beauty of a woman's posture. She displays her charm to the greatest extent. Quote, Yun Niang said, the palace dress here is mainly conservative. After all, the people in the town cannot be all modern women. It is difficult to accept those modern clothes, not to mention, the ancient palace dress, for women, can also set off the beauty of women's body. Consider both modern design concepts and the beauty of ancient palace decoration. Blended into one, not only the palace dress is extremely exquisite, adding to the figure of women. Now on this second floor, many women linger. There is a dressing room upstairs. After a woman goes in and changes clothes, suddenly, the temperament and charm of the whole person are multiplied at once. At first, it was just ordinary women. They can be set off by wearing these dresses. Gives a touch of stunning. Zhao Ji, Gui Ying, each of you chooses a few pieces of clothing and tries to fit them. Yi Tianxing said with a smile. No hurry, I still have women's underwear here. I might as well put it on after choosing it. Yun Niang suggested with a smile. Okay, Brother Yi, please wait here. Kai Yan heard, a hint of shame appeared on his face, but nodded and agreed. Okay, I'll go down and pick some clothes to change. Yi Tianxing smiled, nodded, and didn't say much, and let them go and choose underwear items by themselves. During the steps, walk towards the first floor. The clothes here are good. Since they are here, they can't go home empty-handed. Pick a black skinny gown below and a black robe. Better set off a perfect figure. The muscles on the body do not show the muscle-like state, but a streamlined perfect curve. From the outside, it seems to feel the amazing power contained in the flesh. It's as silk, soft and decent, comfortable and natural to wear on the body. Besides, it is simple and generous, which does not hinder the fight of killing. It is no wonder that this kind of clothes can sweep the town. This is just a misty brocade. More perfect. Yunjin is a material that can be used to make vestments. Fuyu prohibition can be incorporated into it. This is not easy. Quote. Yi Tianxing glanced at the clothes on his body with satisfaction. The most important thing was that there were no pins on the clothes, which was quite astonishing, as if the clothes were born from heaven and earth without any cutting at all. Similarly, this dress also has a defensive force that is not inferior to the top battle armor. Ordinary swordsmen will be blocked when they fall on it, and it will be difficult to tear apart, unless it is to show true energy and combat skills. This is already pretty good. There is the power of Wujin in it, and there is a unique method for Yunyang to make clothes, so that these clothes are truly seamless. Naturally a kind of invisible defense force is born. Make these clothes amazing and very durable. Just when Yi Tianxing and Kai Yan were choosing clothes in Tianyij. At this moment, in Xuanwang town, an ordinary-looking man, dressed up, and even the chi of his body, seems to be different from Xuanwang town. Besides, at least, he can make a difference. The man's face could be seen with a hint of indecision. Looked at the sky. In his hand, he took out a white incense. Don't blame me. My daughter is still in the village. I can't ignore my daughter's life. If I don't do it and obey the order, my daughter will be dead. I will be forced. The man gritted his teeth, his face showing firmness. Go to an inconspicuous place and light the white weird incense with a flint stone. That incense can be easily ignited. It is also strange after being lit, emitting a slight white light smoke. After appearing, it disappeared strangely into the air. The man smelled it, but found that he could not smell anything, as if it was colorless and tasteless, without any abnormal changes. Doesn't work. The man had doubts on his face, and he ignored them immediately. He secretly said, it doesn't work better. The Lord gave me something, just told me to ignite it. Now it's ignited. My task has been completed. Does it work? I can't control the consequences. Anyway, it's best if nothing happens. Quote. Without hesitation, turn and leave. Only one fragrance was left burning, emitting a colorless light smoke. Floating in the air, dissipating invisible. This scent is burning very fast. After being ignited, it is completely burnt out in just a few moments, and no powder is left, so it disappears silently. No trace was found. Well, the incense of the beast's soul has been ignited, and it is ignited in Xuanwang town. This is a treasure of heaven and earth. In my hands, there is only one. This thing, once ignited, will be in the shortest time, completely burned out. The light smoke emitted, will condense an invisible beast soul Dan in the void. The attraction of fierce beasts and birds is irresistible. I want to see, Yu Xuanwangjin, also can it stop the coming beast wave? I want to start private ownership and develop and grow myself fast. It also depends on whether I agree or not. Quote. Outside Xuanwang town, in a hidden area, a pair of eyes are hidden in the darkness, and it seems that they can feel a change, and a cold color is exposed in the eyes. Xuanwang town continues to grow so much, and it will also expand eternal coin to all villages within a 10,000-mile radius. Intangible, not only Xuanwang town, but even in these villages, it also began to yearn for Xuanwang town. The influence is increasing every day, and this puts them in the position of those who build the village. This is cutting meat with a blunt knife and boiling frogs in warm water. Over time, the consequences are definitely not what he wants to see. In any case, for any reason, we cannot continue to watch Xuanwang town develop. This time he was going to cause a beast tide. Even if Xuanwangjian supported in the beast tide, he would definitely have great vitality. At that time, they still have the opportunity to rise up and catch up. And even a huge benefit from it. Outside Xuanwang town, in the darkness, even if it is thousands of miles apart, originally in the dark, a large number of fierce beasts and monsters have started to wake up, walk out of the gathering place, and prepare to hunt. The sound of violent killings, beasts roaring, birdsong, passing on and on. The atmosphere filled the air. In the wilderness, it was the cruelest killing ground. But at this moment, all of a sudden, the chaotic killing, the roar of the beast stopped without any warning, and even the beasts who were fighting each other stopped subconsciously, no longer entangled, and looked at the void. At this moment, it seems as if the entire world suddenly pressed the pause button. At night, it became so quiet. Quiet and frightening. It can be seen that in the darkness, a pair of eyes suddenly looked at the location of Xuanwangjin without any warning. In the eyes, a strong desire to be added to it was inexhaustible. It was from the soul, from the blood. Desiring, they felt a strange scent that seemed to ignore the boundaries of space and plunge directly into the body. Treasure, there are treasures. If you swallow that treasure, you will be able to evolve, your blood will evolve, your soul will break through, you will become more powerful, and you will directly break into new realms and new levels. Become a real strong person with a strong qualification. Rush forward and find the thing, it is a peerless treasure. Countless beasts and birds are involuntarily emerging in the body and in the soul. These thoughts can even know their ferocious lost mind. This desire, from flesh and blood, from the soul, is truly unstoppable. There is no irresistible, no need to resist, it is an instinct. Rumble. After being silent for a while, each of the beasts and birds was driven by the strong instinct of the body without any resistance. At the same time, it turned around and rushed towards Xuanwang town. In the wilderness, there were so many animals and birds large, it can be said to be endless. This rush to kill out, immediately, a large number of fierce beasts swarmed out like a tide. Everywhere you go, it's almost ruined and destroyed. Exterminate everything. www.novelhall.com. The ferocity of the momentum is truly unstoppable. It seems that anything that is in front of you must be completely destroyed. The ground was violently roaring, even shaking constantly. The ground was shaking, the landslide broke, and it ran like a thundering sky. In the empty space, a violent bird flew up like a tide, gathered together, and swept across Xuanwang town without hesitation. Roar. There was a sudden roar in a mountain peak. The whole mountain shattered and exploded. Can see. In the broken mountain peaks, a large number of crystals are exposed, and these crystals are shining with different light. But in a blink of an eye, a large mouth of blood basin appeared instantly, swallowing a huge amount of spar. A terrible monster stepped on the ground stiffly. It exudes a breath of horror, a breath of destruction that pervades the world. This beast, tens of feet high, moved up like a mountain peak, with thick hind legs standing on the ground, and the ground continued to crack and cracks appeared. On the back, huge dorsal fins emerged, like mountain peaks, which stood up and exuded a chi. Chapter 379, Siege of Iron Blood. Master Huang Yi has passed away, and his grief is inexplicable. He still remembers the days when Shu and Qinji spent sleeping and eating. A master left, silent. Close black lens bracket. People stand up like a huge mutant dinosaur. As soon as it appeared, a devastating atmosphere swept away in all directions. Even the nearby beasts and birds, when they felt it, could not help to evade themselves. This is a kind of instinct to avoid evil. You can also feel how terrible the breath of this monster is. Roar! The horrible monster looked up at the void, and looked at the place where Xuanwang Town was, with strong desire in his eyes. Without hesitation, he started to move forward, striding forward towards Xuanwang Town. As such, I don't know how many. There are too many beasts and birds in the wilderness. The monstrous evil spirit condenses into clouds, like a mountain rain destroying the city. Invisible pressure sweeping the world like tide. What's going on? Why is there an ominous hunch in my heart suddenly, as if something bad happened suddenly, the feeling of coming soon? Strangely, if it is said to be dangerous, even the aliens will be defeated, no accident, it should be impossible in a short time power strikes the town again. Where does this dangerous feeling come from? Quote, waiting in the Tianyi pavilion for Kai Tian's two daughters, Yi Tianxing, suddenly had a bad feeling. It seems as if a kind of induction is born in the underworld. This induction is very mysterious. But he didn't realize why. It only felt very strong, not even weaker than the several calamities that were faced at first. One is not good, there is even the possibility of falling on the spot. Baby, there are treasures, it's mine. The treasure must be mine. No one can ***** the treasure of the emperor. In the middle of doubt, there was a roar of anger and anxiety. Out of the Tianyi pavilion, looking at the void, I only saw that the green emperor drove a green wind and flew continuously over Xuanwang Town, while roaring while flying, the green light in both eyes was unprecedentedly rich. Whoever dares to fight for it with a baby, then pass it. Howl. In the sky, two lights, one gold and one green, cut through the sky and appeared over Xuanwang Town. Amazingly Jinpeng and Function Pterodactylus. They also seem to be motivated by something, and strong desires and longings emerge from their eyes. Very strong. Jinpeng, you also want to grab the baby with me, then don't blame the emperor. If the emperor ignites the fire, I will be afraid of myself. The green emperor saw Jinpeng's arrival, his eyes became greener, the green light on his body was more intense, and the green hair was dancing in the wind. The fangs grinned and made a roar, but the dread in the eyes was also visible. Jinpeng and Function Pterodactyl did not budge, hovering in the void. Still staring. Green Emperor, Jinpeng, you too, come down to me. Yi Tianxing looked at the void and gave a drink. No, there is a baby on it. The emperor heard, green eyes, and shouted. What darling and what can attract you? Yi Tianxing felt a little faint in his heart, feeling vaguely bad for a while, and quickly asked. I don't know, but I caught up with a fragrant smell. There is something in this sky, but I can't see it. The emperor felt that as long as I can eat it, I can grow a green hair and become a real green emperor. Heaven and earth are unique. My emperor is the most powerful dog emperor. Quote. The green emperor roared. There was an impatient feeling in the looks. No, it really is a ghost. When Yi Tianxing heard it, he felt bad immediately. There is something in the void, something that can't be seen, and it can also emit strange incense, which has such a huge attraction for the green emperor. Even the Function Winglong King in the hatched egg can't help showing up here, you can imagine how powerful and terrible this attraction is. Even if they are attracted, it must have the same great attraction for other beasts and birds. This kind of attraction cannot be resisted. The place where it appears is in Xuanwang Town. The consequences of such a thing are already conceivable, and it is absolutely inestimable. This will be a calamity, an unprecedented calamity. Master, just now I saw with a look of hope that Xuanwang Town was suddenly overshadowed by evil spirits, and the anger was rising out of nowhere. I'm afraid that there will be a major calamity in our Xuanwang Town. We must prepare early. Master Lu quickly walked through the crowd like a dragon, came to Yi Tianxing, and said quickly. There are such changes in the pets of the Green King and Jinpeng. It seems no surprise that there is some kind of treasure in our Xuanwang Town that has great attraction to the beasts and birds. This should be someone who is acting secretly, conspiracy and deception. Want to target Xuanwang Town. Quote. Jia Yan also hurried quickly, with a dignity in his expression. Looking at the void, vaguely, a hint has been guessed. This is definitely not an accident, but someone can do it. The conspiracy and tricks on display, otherwise, it would not be possible to have such a sudden change at such a moment. According to the Green Emperor, there is some kind of treasure over Xuanwang Town that is invisible, but it has a strong attraction to the beasts and birds. Yi Tianxing said in a deep voice. I'm afraid that our town will face a huge crisis this time. If it really has such a terrible attraction, the surrounding beasts and birds will inevitably flock and form a tide of beasts. There are already fierce beasts and birds, and they are about to arrive. Rush into town. Quote. The light in Jia Yan's eyes changed, and he said flatly. The look was very firm. Dang dang. A crisp bell rang on the iron blood Great Wall. Kill, 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 archer, shoot, Shenjiang, 3 consecutive shots. In the sound of the bell, you can clearly see that there was a drunk of drinking on the iron blood Great Wall. The intensive arrow rain shot out of the Great Wall, and a crossbow ruptured the sky. You can hear the crisp sound of the crossbow through the flesh. There are fierce beasts and poultry starting to impact the iron blood Great Wall. Yi Tianxing looked up at the past, and the dignified color between the looks was more intense. Although I had guessed that I could come so fast, it was unexpected. Now the impact on the iron blood Great Wall should be only a part of it. It is the nearby beasts and birds. The scale is not large, and it is the easiest to deal with. If you wait, there may be a tide of animals. Also, you may suffer attacks from all directions. This time, this is definitely a severe test for Xuanwang Town. Quote. Wu firmly grasped the fan in his hand. Already felt a breath of mountain rain. Okay, it's coming very fast. Although I don't know who is calculating my Xuanwang Town, but since it was shot, I will accept it. I will see if these conspiracy tricks can ruin my Xuanwang Town. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, and his body instantly sent out a strong sense of war. The war was intense and soared into the sky. Xuanwang Town was killed, not by others. He was easy to travel, even the entire Xuanwang Town, who had feared the killing of war. To fight, kill a bloodstream. If you want to fight, then the battle song burns the sky. General Yang Yi, the end is here. Yang Yi has also arrived and promised directly. Go to the barracks and immediately dispatch the 3 armies, leaving 10,000 troops as reserve troops, and the remaining 90,000 troops, all ready to go to war. Swords and guns start, battle arrows carry feet, runes, rune bombs, and can be supplied indefinitely. All soldiers get ready to die. Quote. Yi Tianxing ordered decisively. All the officers, they are ready. Yang Yi agreed without hesitation. After hearing the bells and the killings, all the soldiers were assembled, ready to go to war, and ready to die at any time. No bloodsheds, and no truce. War, war, war. Now in Xuanwang Town, we haven't built walls around it, and now only one side is blocked by the iron blood Great Wall. The other sides will directly face the threat of beasts. If this threat forms a beast tide, the destructive power will be S multiplied by a factor of 2. Against this, the losses will be huge. Quote. Jia Yu said, no one had expected that they would suddenly face such terrible calamities, especially those that swept away. It would be an endless stream of beasts. In the face of the beast tide, if there is no way to stop and buffer it, it is considered an army. No matter how strong it is, unless it is a powerful one that can turn things around, otherwise, if it is involved in the tide of beasts, the damage will be severe, and it may even be wiped out by the entire army. Not impossible. Don't worry, it's not easy to get the city walls. The Iron Blood Great Wall is a big barrier in Xuanwang Town, the strongest city wall, the strongest defense, and the strongest arm support. Yi Tianxing didn't care, he said confidently. Gather me. With a break in my heart, a drink rang out in the void. Brush. Suddenly, I saw that the great wall of iron blood that ran in the distance burst into a burst of blood, and in the blood-red light, the entire great wall of iron blood rose up to the sky, appeared outside Xuanwang Town, and then it quickly surrounds Xuanwang Town, spreads rapidly, and connects end to end, forming a huge city wall, covering all kinds of buildings in Xuanwang Town. It's like a natural city wall. There are no gaps. www.novelhall.com, perfect walls have already appeared. It can still be like this, the Iron Blood Great Wall can be directly turned into the wall outside Xuanwang Town. It is amazing, amazing. The people in the town were also shocked by this sudden change, exclaimed, but did not expect that the Iron Blood Great Wall could mobile. It can not only stay out of the territory, but also guard the town. Brother Yi, what happened? In the Tianyi Pavilion, Kai Yan and Mu Guiying both ran out as soon as they saw the killing gas emanating from the air. They immediately felt that something had happened. Quickly asked. An animal tide is coming. Yi Tianxing glanced at the two women, and they all put on new palace costumes to perfectly set off their temperament. However, at this time, they have no intention to appreciate this beautiful scenery. How can there be a beast tide? Mu Guiying exclaimed with surprise. My fairy phoenix and the 100-bird dynasty phoenix can suppress the evil birds. I went to the wall with Brother Yi. Kai Yan made the decision without hesitation. Chapter 380, Blood Gas Forged Dan. For subscription recommendation, 2 tickets are available. Close black lens bracket. Kai Yong's 100-bird dynasty phoenix has a natural advantage in group attack and restraint against fierce birds. On the battlefield, one person can be 100,000 soldiers. Especially in the past few months, my understanding of the phoenix of the 100 birds is even deeper, not only the first chapter, Bird Controversy, but also the second movement, the Indus Phoenix. This kind of help is extremely amazing when facing the beast tide. I also go. These days I have also started to practice the exercises. I have a lot of resources, and the progress is not small. I just want to experience for myself what the real fight on the battlefield looks like. Mu Guiying also said, there was a moment of excitement, and I was eager to try. There was no resistance at all in the fight against slaughter. She herself does not love red clothes and armed personalities. She grew up in a cottage when she was a child, and practiced martial arts with her father. It can be said that the daughter's female red can't do anything at all, and dancing with guns is great, that's everything. Now that I hear of war, I am naturally eager to try. Ready to fight. Go to the wall. Yi Tianxing glanced at Mu Guiying and said without any obstruction. The words fell, already walking in jeopardy, walking towards the Iron Blood Great Wall. Follow the stairs and step forward quickly. Set foot on the Iron Blood Great Wall. The height of the city wall, which is 3 feet high, exudes momentum, but it is extremely thick, and a kind of guardian idea echoes in the Iron Blood Great Wall. The siege of the Iron Blood Great Wall towered around Xuanwang town. A famous man was also prepared for the first time on the wall. There was no fear caused by the change of the Iron Blood Great Wall. This Great Wall was cast by the flesh and blood of human martyrs and their former comrades in arms. Stepping here, all they have is a kind of stability, a kind of strong war will. Protect the town and the people. Due to the concession of the Iron Blood Great Wall, a large number of fierce beasts and fierce birds have directly crossed the canyon and appeared all around. On the city wall, a famous man attacked the beasts and birds without hesitation. A stock of battle arrows, a crossbow, and a tear in the sky, each one flashed with a cold light. Groups of beasts and birds were nailed to the ground, shot through their bodies, and dropped to the ground. The eyes of these beasts and birds show a kind of madness, which is to rush into Xuanwang town, desperately. That madness is frightening. Thousands of savage beasts swept through, and even the strength of these savage beasts may not be strong. But the amount of oppression it still brings is still terrible. Unfortunately, these beasts, as a whole, are still relatively scattered. Faced with the intensive runes and crossbows, the fate of death could not be escaped. The first-tier fierce beast could not be shaken at all, and they fell to the ground in front of the Iron Blood Great Wall. Boom boom. With the command. In the barracks, a team of neat troops quickly killed, and under their respective leadership, they quickly stepped towards the Iron Blood Great Wall. In the first time, they quickly found their place, guarded on the wall, and looked coldly below. The beasts that swept away, the birds. There was no fear in the eyes, but a strong sense of war emerged. They didn't know until they joined the army and became soldiers. It is not only a matter of the 9-grade military system. When formulating the 9-grade military system, Yi Tianxing also put forward a very obscure suggestion, that is, as long as you perform well in the army, your merits are outstanding. You can choose not to be promoted and accumulate merits again. 10 times as many meritorious deeds as one celestial soldier to promote 2 celestial soldiers can be promoted. The most important thing is that when you are promoted, you must accept the challenge of the 9 heavenly soldiers of the same rank, and you can't really be promoted. This kind of promotion is called Tianbingji. It can only be carried out when it is in the first rank to the 3rd rank, because this range belongs to the realm of Shanhai. Once you break through the 3rd grade heaven soldier and reach the 4th grade, that is the level of life and consciousness. For example, the promotion of the 1st ranked heavenly soldier to the 2nd ranked heavenly soldier requires 100 meritorious points. Moreover, it is military merit, killing the enemy in the army, and the merit gained through experience, 10 times, is 1000 merit points. If the 2nd ranked soldier is promoted to the 3rd ranked player, the required merit point is 1000 points, plus 10 times, it is 10,000 points. If the 3rd grade is promoted to the 4th grade, it is normal to have 10,000 points of merit, but if it is increased 10 times, it is 100,000 points, which is almost a desperate number. Therefore, in Yipan, it is the best opportunity to complete the Tianbingji. Once the Tianbing robberies are completed and promoted, they will be inherited from the Heavenly War Code. You can transfer to the Warriors of Heaven. This exercise is the best practice. The facade can be said to contain the cultivation methods of various realms. Once cultivated, the combat strength is much stronger than iron blood. Heavenly Soldiers War Code. Legendary heavenly soldiers will practice exercises. Once cultivated, the transformation of strength and combat power will undergo a fundamental change. Now many soldiers, after knowing this, have almost decided without hesitation to follow the path of promotion of the heavenly soldiers, and even in their hearts, they believe that this is the true path of the heavenly soldiers, promotion. Only in this way can we become truly strong. The others are nothing but pseudo-sky soldiers. In this regard, one by one, they have worked hard enough to accumulate a lot of merits and complete the trial of the Tianbingji. Although the battlefield is dangerous, it is a shortcut for rapid promotion and accumulation of merits. Even if it is dead, it will never shrink. There was intense fighting in every body. Even if they knew they were about to be swept by the tide of animals, there was still no fear. This is a belief. 10,000 troops were in the Xuanwang town as a reserve army, and the remaining 90,000 troops went directly to the Iron Blood Great Wall. Weapons shimmered in cold light, boxes of battle arrows were distributed all over the place, and the supply was unlimited. Fuyu, Rune Bomb, they all moved to the city wall as soon as possible. The cloud of war shrouded the sky. Xuanwang town, who was silent for 3 or 4 months, exposed his own fangs and sharp edges for the first time. This is long to say, but it is just a short moment, and all defenses have been completed quickly. When this was done, many people in the town were unresponsive. This is how it happened, why suddenly the army stepped on the city wall, and there was also a kind of impending war. The Iron Blood Great Wall turned into a city wall around Xuanwang town. 100,000 troops rushed out of the barracks. What is going on? Are there any terrible enemies coming to attack Xuanwang town? I saw a lot of fierce beasts and poultry starting to hit the city wall. What is going on? In normal times, these fierce beasts dare not approach the wall easily, but now there are so many, this is unusual. There are major events to happen. Quote, Beast tide, is there a tide of beasts that will impact our Xuanwang town? How could this happen suddenly? It seems that the scale of the beast tide will definitely not be small. This will be a difficult battle. Up the city wall, everyone will go up together. Even if we are not as good as the army, we are also monks. These days when we cultivate, we are not the weak who has no power to guard the chickens. We will protect Xuanwang town and have our share. The people in the town were uproared, and they were immediately excited. With a shout, a large number of people took various weapons and rushed to the city wall. These days, when people have money in their hands, they are all in possession of their own weapons. In their hands, they have their own weapons. In Xuanwang town, swords and weapons are not forbidden, but they encourage this kind of sentimentality. Many people the usual means of earning money is to form a team into the wilderness and hunt down fierce beasts in exchange for cultivation resources and eternal coins. To a certain extent, Xuanwang town is already a soldier. In the face of battle, few admit it. Many men directly boarded the city walls. I am afraid that only Xuanwang town can see this kind of sight of the whole people. The people in power here are so broad-minded and admirable that no one can do it for all people. When people in other villages saw this situation, they showed envy and wonder. But there is no way, who told them not to be the people of Xuanwang town? Otherwise, you can also have the opportunity to enter and leave the Tibetan pavilion. Of course, there are even opportunities for them to enter and leave the Tibetan pavilion, but they can't check the exercises, they can only look at ordinary ancient books, ordinary knowledge, and human biographies. You can't see the real practice. No effect at all, it can only be envy. In the town, a group of main backbones have already reached the wall. Looking at the beasts and birds that were constantly being shot, everyone's face was not a little relaxed. Everyone knows that this is not a beast tide, it is just a precursor to a beast tide. The beast tide that has not yet completely formed and is killed is simply worthless. The real test is in the back. This is just the beginning. Master, you see, these fierce beasts and birds have fallen, and there is a trace of blood on their bodies, which rises into the air and disappears. This is weird. Lu Shi suddenly frowned. www.novelhall.com. Interesting, this should be the treasure that caused the Emperor and Jinpeng to fight for it. The blood was converging towards the void. Quote. There was a dip in Huang Chengyan's eyes, and he looked up at the void. It can be seen that this trace of flesh seems to be attracted by a strange attraction, flying to the sky, and then, it is gathered by some invisible force. In the void, a figure begins to emerge, it is a dandelion. Illusory sight of medicine. This elusive elixir seems to have a mysterious power, and naturally ingests blood into the elixir. Let the elixir of the naked eye begin to condense into substance at a speed visible to the naked eye, becoming more real. As tens of thousands of flesh are incorporated, this rate of transformation towards reality becomes faster. It turned out to be an elixir. It was a weird elixir. It was just illusory before, but after absorbing the blood from the beasts and birds, it turned out to be a virtual one. This is a strange thing that must be made with countless blood. Dan. Quote, there was a flash of shock in Jia Yumei's eyebrows.